Another beautiful day in Falmouth has made way for another night of Falmouth Commodores baseball. Tonight, your Commodores, who sit at 1-1, welcome in the defending champion Harwich Mariners, who present the same record. Here to open the door before Game 3, alongside Andrew Delapiana and Ben Haller, I'm Ryan Martin. Andrew, let's go back to last night. The Commodores suffered their first loss of the 2025 season. It was looking like a win, though, until that top of the ninth.
Yeah, that ninth inning was not very pretty for Falmouth. Brewster scores 4 runs. Started off by a 2-run home run by Blake Sear. Gets the job done. The line starts to move a little bit more for the Whitecaps, and Michael Gillen gets caught with the loss and the blown save. And for a Falmouth pitching staff, was really impressive through these first 2 games, only allowing 2 runs through about 15, 16 innings of work. Then the ninth inning happens, and Falmouth loses what should be a 2-0 season so far.
That pitching staff was looking great, and Ben, they didn't get much run support in that 1-0 win over Chatham, able to squeak out that opening day win against the Anglers, but it was the same story with the Bats in that loss last night to the Whitecaps.
Well, I think it's getting sort of redundant talking about the change from aluminum to wooden bats and that being a big problem. Obviously, we know that's going to be there. 4 runs total for the first couple of games, and it's been the same way. They've scored a couple of the runs on sacrifice flies, 1 on a broken bat single, and then 1 on a wild pitch. Not a lot of power. I think only 1 or 2 extra base hits for this team so far. A big problem, too, or maybe a reason for the problem, I think, is they played some really different arms. 2 arms that stand out. JT Quinn had a really high-velocity fastball as a righty. Then you get Douglas Bauer from Ohio State yesterday, who had a lot of breaking pitches as a lefty. I think once they start to settle in, face some more similar arms, they'll figure it out.
You mentioned those 4 runs across those 2 games. Still waiting for that first homer by Dorsville season. We'll see if it comes tonight against the Mariners. Speaking of this Harwich team, Andrew, again, we mentioned the defending champions. They won that 2024 crown, but in the regular season, that was a Mariners team that looked very similar to a Falmouth team that finished at the bottom of the West Division last year.
It's really hard to believe that the Mariners actually had 1 less point than the Commodores, and they were the 3 seed in the East Division. That just shows you how good the West was last year. But this was a Harwich team that lost 17 of its first 19 games in the month of July. They win 6 of their final 8 to get to the postseason. Then the magical run continues to their 6th championship in franchise history. So this is a franchise that known for their early season struggles, but can pick it up just like we saw last season.
It was a special Mariners team this season, and we should be in store for a special Monday night between the Mariners and the Commodores. It's Falmouth, it's Harwich. First pitch here from Gov Fuller Field, set for 6 p.m.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Game 3 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season between the Harwich Mariners and the Falmouth Commodores. Alongside Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Delapiana here on Opening the Door, and we will head down field level where our third member of our crew, Ryan Martin, joined by Bear Harrison earlier today.
Commodores pregame rolls on as we're joined by a very special guest here in Bear Harrison, Texas A&M catcher. Bear, big news again in the MLB world and everywhere yesterday. Your brother being part of the trade with Rafael Devers. During the Commodores game against the Brewster Whitecaps, did you find out during the game, or how did you get to know about that?
Yeah, I found out after I was done with the inning of catching. It was like the 6th inning, I think, and I got in the dugout and Salty pulled me aside. He's like, hey, your brother just got traded. And he'd show me on his, I was like, you're joking, right? Yeah. And he showed me on his Apple Watch and stuff, and the trade went through. I saw he was going for Devers, and yeah, it's crazy how fast it can happen. You know, I thought he was going to start against the Dodgers yesterday, and I went on with my game, and I thought everything was going to be normal, but yeah, it's a business, man. It's crazy. So.
It is crazy. Yeah. And post game, you have any calls with family, calls with him, or what happened after that Doors Whitecaps game?
Yeah, I haven't got to talk to him yet, but I talked to my parents and stuff, and yeah, he's just happy. You know, I mean, he still gets to play baseball and stuff, so I think he's probably really excited for what's to come in the future for his career.
You mentioned first time for yourself in Massachusetts. Now, whether your brother's playing in Worcester or Fenway, you're a lot closer to go see him or him come down here. Ever thought about that yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't been able to see him in about like a year now, so it's I miss him a lot, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to see him because I was looking at the schedule with the Giants and if they're playing the Red Sox this summer at all, and they weren't. So I'm glad that he's close to me now and we can hang out.
Now you get that opportunity. And just talking about your nickname, Bear Harrison. You were talking, it's because you said it was because you were a Bear at Kyle's games.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with an older brother and seeing him have major league success?
Yeah, I'm glad. I like to say that I helped him a little bit, but he's helped me be the player I've become. I've learned a lot from being the younger brother, just learning what decisions he's made in his career and stuff like that. So I've been learning a lot from him, and it's great to have an older guy like that around you at all times and sticking with you and having that MLB bloodline. It's really cool. It's really cool.
You have to keep watching out for Kyle Harris, the Red Sox organization, and Bear Harrison here with the Commodores. That'll do it here with Bear Harrison. We'll send it back up to the PA booth for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field for tonight's Cape Cod Baseball League matchup featuring the visiting Harwich Mariners and your Falmouth Commodores. Fans, tonight is Falmouth Commodores Scholarship Night. Tonight, we recognize members of the Falmouth and Mashpee community who bring out the best of themselves in and outside the classroom. The first scholarship, the George Creighton Scholarship. This scholarship is awarded each year in memory of George Creighton, a longtime volunteer and past president of the Falmouth Commodores. Mr. Creighton was very active in youth sports and baseball. Recipients must be high school seniors who are residents of Falmouth or Mashpee. The scholarships are awarded in recognition of student sports participation, academic achievement, volunteerism, and financial need. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2025 George Creighton winners are tonight, not in attendance, Jacqueline Young. Jacqueline is a graduate of Falmouth High School. Her academic achievements, her dedication to her extracurricular activities, and spirit of competitiveness will serve her well at Boston College. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacqueline Young. Our next scholarship is to Addison Rebello. Addison is a graduate of Mashpee High School. Her high level of academic achievement, participation in sports, and high level of volunteerism will lend themselves to her studies at Mass Maritime Academy. Addison will study facilities engineering and energy systems. Let's hear it again for Addison. Next up, Lorenzo Silva Ferreira. Lorenzo moved to the United States at 16 years old, only speaking Portuguese. He is a graduate of Falmouth High School and a member of the National Honor Society, National Art Honor Society, and National Spanish Honor Society. Lorenzo also worked a part-time job and volunteered while attending Falmouth High School. He plans to attend UMass Lowell studying nutritional science. One more time for Lorenzo. Next up, Brendan Keating. Brendan is a member of the National Honor Society, Math Honor Society, and Latin Honor Society. He is a 3-sport varsity athlete and has volunteered at the Falmouth Schools and Falmouth Road Race. Brendan plans to pursue a degree in civil engineering at UMass Amherst. Fans, one more time for Brendan, Lorenzo, Addison, and Checklin. Now, our 2025 Chuck Sturvant Outstanding Service Award is given annually in honor of Chuck, in recognition of his many years of service and dedication to the Commodores and the Cape Cod Baseball League. This award is presented to individuals who have been with the team as a bat kid, long-term host family member, intern, or other significant volunteer. This year, our winner is Chase Briggs. Chase is a graduate of Falmouth High School. He has been involved with the Commodores for many years, including serving as a bat boy for 4 seasons and volunteering in different capacities. Chase will be attending Quinnipiac University, where he will major in sports management. Let's hear it again for Chase Briggs. Fans, it's now time to meet tonight's starting lineup. First for the visiting Harwich Mariners. The manager of the Mariners is Steve Englert. Leading off the center fielder from the University of Houston, number 3, Trey Broussard. Batting second, the right fielder from Northeastern University, number 13, Harrison Feinberg. Batting third, the third baseman from Mississippi State, number 28, Eric Becker. Batting fourth, the shortstop from the University of South Carolina, number 23, Jake McCoy. Batting fifth, the first baseman from Richmond University, number 24, Jordan Jaffe. Batting sixth, the left fielder from Wofford, number 4, Nico Brini. Batting seventh, the designated hitter from Boston College, number 34, Kyle Wolf. Batting eighth, the catcher from Middle Tennessee State University, number 32, Tyler Minnick. And batting ninth, the second baseman from Kansas State University, number 2, Shintaro Inoue. The pitcher this evening for the Whitecaps, the Mariners, is a right-handed pitcher from the University of Hawaii, number 12, Freddie Rodriguez. And now, it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Falmouth Commodores. First up, the manager in his first season with Falmouth, World Series champion, Jared Saltalamacchia. Leading off, the second baseman from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. Batting second, the shortstop from Texas A&M, number 24, Ben Royo. Batting third, the third baseman from the University of South Alabama, number 17, Kyle Morrison. Batting fourth, the right fielder, number 41, John Smith. Batting fifth at first base from Georgia Tech, number 3, Kent Schmidt. Batting sixth in center field from the University of Tennessee, number 26, Chris Newstrom. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 15, Coleman Mizell. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 20, Mark Quattroni. And batting ninth, the left fielder from Cal Berkeley, number 8, Carl Schmidt. The pitcher this evening for your Commodores is a right-handed pitcher from the University of Nebraska, number 23, T.J. Coates. Fans, since 1983, Falmouth Service Center has worked hand in hand with the community to educate, support, and improve the quality of life of Upper Cape residents in need. On the field tonight, we have with us Karen Delaney, Executive Director of the Falmouth Service Center. Brian Dugan, Warehouse and Operations Manager. And Ginny Irvin, Director of Development and Communications. Individuals, schools, organizations, and businesses and the faith community contribute not only financial donations, but also food, clothing, and other necessary goods to the Falmouth Service Center and hand-in-hand thrift shop to help fulfill the mission to ease stress, reduce hunger, and improve the quality of life for our neighbors in need. With more than 500 enthusiastic volunteers, many in the stands with us today, and 16 community-focused programs in the Falmouth Service Center, it is a place where people can come if they need help or wish if they need to be of help. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for your community group tonight, the Falmouth Service Center. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that if you're able to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who protect our freedoms with the playing and singing of our national anthem, sung tonight by the Mullen Hall School, Mako Madrigal. The Madrigals are 3rd and 4th graders from Mullen Hall School in Falmouth. The school's mascot is the Shark. Show the Sharks some love for their final performance of the school year whenever you're ready.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So much. That was absolutely fantastic.
Game 3 of the Falmouth Commodores season here from Gov Fuller Field between the Harwich Mariners and the Falmouth Commodores. Welcome back into the broadcasting booth alongside my partner Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Del Piana, and Ben, let's start with what happened last night here from the Gov between Falmouth and Brewster. A 4-run ninth inning for the Whitecaps, as we talked about a little bit earlier, where Falmouth just 2 outs away from going 2-0.
Well, this is a matchup I'm really excited about because I think this is a game where we are going to learn a lot about both teams. We'll start with the Commodores, like you talked about. A team that, again, I think has played 17 innings of really good baseball, at least on the pitching side. Ninth inning got away from them. Still, we've seen 6 pitchers perform really well for this Falmouth team. I'm excited to see TJ Coates and what he can do.
Should be a fun matchup between Freddie Rodriguez, who gets the start for Harwich, and TJ Coates, who we'll see in just a little bit after our first pitches. But it really feels like an important part of the season early on for the Commodores. Offense has really been at the forefront of this team, Ben, where the bats have not looked hot in these first 2 games. You look at a Falmouth lineup that is just 5 hits, 57 plate appearances. That's the only team right now in the league that's less batting than 100.
Yeah, we talk about 17 innings of really good baseball offense. They've scored a lot of different small ball. We talked about on the pregame show 4 runs for the Commodores the first 2 games. 2 sac flies, a broken bat flare single, and then a wild pitch that let a run come home. In this lineup we're going to get to later, 0 RBIs through the first couple of games from the 9 guys in this Falmouth lineup.
That's a huge, important piece of what needs to go right in this game if Falmouth wants to pick up the victory against Harwich. As we are just moments away between first pitch between the Mariners and the Commodores, Game 3 of the Cape Cod baseball season. For Harwich, starting off their season, the defending champions winning that first game. We saw a finals rematch back on Saturday in which the Mariners took that one 7-5 over the Braves, and then a really tough showing last night for this Harwich offense, losing to Hyannis 4-1. And it's a team that brings back some good amount of talent from last year, because this is a program that likes to turn out a good amount of new players and really has a good tutelage under Steve Englehart, who's been at the forefront of Harwich's managerial site for 22 years.
Yeah, well, this is a Falmouth Harwich team where talk about both teams learning a lot about both teams today. On Harwich's side, a lot of it's their one loss so far came against Hyannis, which in my opinion, one of the best rosters you're going to find in the Cape League. Also, you didn't know what to expect at the beginning of the season for the Mariners team, because how much momentum could they carry from that postseason? We were talking beforehand, obviously a big story for them is, that championship title, not really what they showed in the regular season. They stuck into the playoffs, didn't have the best regular season, very similar to the Commodores actually, record-wise. So, which Harwich team are we going to see tonight and the rest of the season? Is it going to be the regular season from last year Mariners or that playoff run?
Well, let's meet that Mariners lineup as we read through tonight's lineup card for Steve Englehart. Starting off is Trey Broussard. He'll play center field. Over in right, batting second is number 13, Harrison Feinberg. In the 3 spot, it's the third baseman, number 28, Eric Becker. In the cleanup, Maddox Maloney, the shortstop, number 38. Batting fifth is Jordan Jaffe. He'll play first base, wearing number 24. Out in left is Nico Brenny, wearing number 4. In the 7th spot, it's the DH, number 34, Kyle Wolf. Batting 8th is the catcher, number 32, Tyler Minnick. And rounding out the order, batting 9th is the second baseman, number 2, Shintaro Inoue.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Harwich team that is very different from Falmouth just in terms of the way they've changed their lineups up in the first few games. They really haven't too much as Falmouth has for sure. What's not to like about Eric Becker? A couple of really nice seasons in his first 2 years at Virginia. We'll see him in Starkville next spring.
And that lineup meets T.J. Coates. His first pitch is just outside, and we are underway at 5:58 p.m. on this Monday night in Falmouth.
We've got some early first pitches. I like it.
Coates fresh off a 7.15 ERA in 8 appearances, 3 starts for the Cornhuskers this season. Only got 11 1/3 innings of work, 9 earned runs on 9 hits. Has to count at 2 balls and 1 strike to the leadoff hitter from Houston, Trey Broussard.
Well, any struggles you want to bring up from Lincoln for Coates this season, a lot of it was in the command issues. He was still tough to hit despite that 7.15 ERA. I don't think really telling. He had a strikeout in every appearance and had a .220 batting average against.
Broussard lofts the ball deep down the right field line, but hooking foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Harwich leadoff hitter. Wrapping up his sophomore season down in Houston. Really speedy once he gets on the base pass in that leadoff spot. Second in the Big Ten in stolen bases with 31 this season. Started all 54 games in center field for the Cougs. Really tough take on the outside there. It's a full count.
Yeah, another reason I'm interested about this matchup is the pitching matchup. 2 guys that didn't get a ton of starts a season ago, and when they did, kind of used as openers. Freddie Rodriguez on the Harwich side, and Coates, just those 3 starts like you mentioned. Didn't go more than 3 1/3 in any of them.
The six pitch walk to Trey Broussard to start this one off. And that's the dangerous spot of getting him on base in the early going. For T.J. Coates, you're going to see a 4-pitch mix tonight with a fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup. Uses that fastball just about 60% of the time. You'll rarely see that changeup in the mix. Here's Harrison Feinberg, the 2-hitter. Starts him off with a breaking ball bouncing in the dirt.
Yeah, this is interesting too. Obviously, just one plate appearance so far for Coates, but last couple of games, the first 2 games of the year for Falmouth, really good starts that included really good first innings for Eschman and Sonye in the last couple of games, respectively.
Broussard, the runner on first with nobody gone. Top 1 scoreless between the Commodores and the Mariners.
Falmouth has struck first in each of the last 2 games as well.
1 ball, 1 strike to Harrison Feinberg, the star senior from Northeastern. Fresh off a 3rd-team All-American campaign. Was the conference's co-player of the year, batting over .365. 18 home runs, 67 RBIs, and oh yeah, he also stole 37 bases
Another check over at first. Ooh, that was a close one. First base umpire Ron Stariak makes the safe call.
Yeah, and obviously a good reason wanting to keep a look on Broussard. 31 stolen bases for him a season ago for the Cougars.
The 1-1, runner takes off. It's hard hit up the middle, off the glove of Royo. That allows Broussard to advance up to second base on what could have been a dangerous double play chance for Falmouth, but instead it deflects off the glove for Royo, and that's going to go down as an E6 against the Falmouth shortstop.
Air's never a good thing, but that's a 2-out swing right there. Broussard taking off would not have any chance to get back to the first base bag, and interesting decision by Broussard too. He had to make a decision. He saw it lined hard at Royo, decided to keep going towards second. If he decides to go back to first there, they still might be able to get that force out at second base, but that's a costly mistake for Royo.
Runners at first and second, still nobody gone in the top of the first between Harwich and Falmouth. Broussard the runner on second, Feinberg at first, and here's the first look at Eric Becker. Recently transferred to Mississippi State, joining his head coach Brian O'Connor from Virginia, now going to Starkville. It's an unbelievable 28 years for Brian O'Connor in Charlottesville, making that move over to the SEC. A long look at second from Coates, delivers home. Roped to second, caught by Morales, goes the short way and makes the play at second. There's your double play you're looking for. Heads up play by Morales, and it's a much-needed double play for Falmouth.
I don't know how to stress how rare the odds of those two plays happening back-to-back are. Both of them, those line-out double plays are very rare, but for a couple of them to happen back-to-back with Broussard involved and being off the bag for both. Obviously, the first one he was trying to steal second.
Runner takes off on the first pitch as well. Throw down to second. Snap tag by Morales, not there in time. Harrison Feinberg gets credited with the stolen base. Brewster really ran wild on Falmouth last night, had 5 of its own.
Nonetheless, if you're Harwich, those are two. That's a double play there. And then the air, even though it is an air, those are 2 hard-hit balls that I think you're going to be happy with.
On the ground, left side, Maloney taps it to Morrison. Didn't get the tag out, but Maloney beats it out at first. He's safe.
Yeah, that's a really awkward play right there for Morrison. You're in a tough position where you see him right there. You think the tag will be easy, but just that split second you saw can be so costly at getting Maloney over to first.
That puts runners at the corners. 2 gone in the top of the first. Commodores and Mariners scoreless. Check over at first with Maloney back in safely. Jordan Jaffe playing first base tonight for Harwich. Still looking for his first hit of the Cape season, 0 for 7. High chopper up the middle over the head of Coates. Going to be a tough play for Royo. Takes it barehanded, makes the play. Falmouth escapes the early inning jam after Harwich looked like it was going to threaten to score the first run of the ball game. First up for the Commodores coming up on the other side. We're just getting started here from the Gov on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field here in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Game 3 of the Cape Cod baseball season. Back alongside Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Delapiana. First ups for the Commodores coming up in this half inning. And let's meet that starting lineup that first-year head coach Jared Saltelmachia rolls out, Ben.
Yeah, it's a lineup that, like we talked about, different from Harwich, and this is a changing lineup. Very different in all 3 of the first 3 games. What will be consistent, though, Antonio Morales started all 3 games for Falmouth. He's got the only 2 base hits of this whole lineup of the first 2 games.
How about Ben Royo in that second spot as well? And it's been a lineup that's been kind of a revolving door in these first 3 games. Morales being the only one of those 3 that has started every one of those first 3 games at the leadoff spot. Let's meet the guy he's going up against tonight in the rest of the Falmouth lineup for the Mariners. It's the Hawaiian Freddie Rodriguez, wrapping up his junior season there. 6'3", 210 pounds. Just wrapped up a pretty good season with the Rainbow Warriors. But only 2 starts as well, Ben, so a little bit of an interesting role, him changing into a starter to begin the summer.
Yeah, he was a Warrior last year, taking 26 appearances.
I see what he did
was
there.
A Rainbow Warrior, yep. So he took a lot of innings in only 2 starts, but kind of trying to build off that last start he had for Hawaii against Cal Poly, his former team, where he went 6 innings, the longest he'd gone by far all year.
He had a sub-3 ERA, a 7-2 record, over 52 innings pitched, mostly out of the bullpen. First to meet him is Antonio Morales in the bottom of the first, and Rodriguez starts him off with inside strike.
Yeah, stat we talked about was 2 base hits so far in the first 2 games for the 9 in this Falmouth lineup, both of them from this man. He's also scored a couple of runs.
Goes back to that spot, same exact result on the fastball.
First 2 runs yesterday were both sac flies that got him in, one from the 3-hitter Landon Moran, one from the cleanup man Bear Harrison. Neither of those 2 in the lineup for Falmouth.
Really the perfect guy to put in that leadoff spot. He's got really every tool you need in the tool bag. That speed, he can go from right field to second base as well. We've seen him in both spots to begin the season. The 0-2 lays that off on the other batter's box. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Morales. Recent commitment to Maryland just a couple of days ago after 2 seasons at Wake Forest. Morales slaps it back foul, stays alive. And we mentioned a little bit earlier, Ben, this Falmouth lineup has really struggled offensively. Just 5 hits so far, and 2 of them belonging to the guy standing at home plate right now.
And it's a lineup. I think Saltelmachia still has this belief in his guys, and every single one of them believes he has a lot of depth. So he's going to keep giving his guys opportunities. I mean, you've seen 2 teams with Harwich today and Brewster yesterday that they're sticking with their guys. They want their top guys in the lineup every single day. Not as much of a revolving door.
Commodores the only offensive team right now that's batting sub 100, and the only one without an extra base hit as well.
Another point we brought up in the pregame show, too, is they have faced a variety of different kinds of pitchers. Douglas Bauer was such a different look for him, a lefty that had a lot of breaking stuff, a lot of movement on a curveball as well, as opposed to a JT Quinn start on Saturday, who just pumped his fastball as a righty in there.
2-2 count to number 2 as he faces number 12 on the bump. Here's the pitch. Morales slaps it the other way towards left field. Nico Brennan's got a beat on it and has it for out number 1. Nico Brennan out in left. Let's meet the rest of the Harwich defense. Headlined by Eric Becker over at third base after a stellar season. Third team All-ACC member.
I also like Shintaro Inoue at second base, too. A lot of speed, a lot of quickness. Somebody who can play shortstop, that stereotypical middle infielder.
And plenty of speed out in the outfield as well. We saw Trey Bouchard try to steal second back in that first inning. Harrison Feinberg getting the bag at second after that double play. One gone for Ben Royo, the shortstop tonight for the Doors. Home plate umpire Jake Britch Handing another baseball to Freddie Rodriguez. An 0 for 3 night last night for Arroyo with a strikeout. Breaking ball a little bit too high from Rodriguez. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fooled on the breaking ball there. Arroyo from Texas A&M started 36 of the 44 games he appeared in this season. Batting .258 for the Aggies, 10 home runs, 23 RBIs. Here's the 1-2. Arroyo pops it up sky high, but gets out of the ballpark.
Yeah, well, the good news for the Commodores, too, a lot of those 36 starts came in the back half of the season for Texas A&M. So, a lot of times you look at two guys who have different starts, but one guy maybe gets fizzled out of the lineup as someone who got thrown in. A lot more hot, a lot more ready for the summer season early on.
Foul tipped into the mitt for strike 3, and that's the first strikeout for Freddie Rodriguez, and there's 2 gone.
Yep, that's been the bugaboo for Falmouth, has been that strikeout. It's definitely helped them on the pitching side, but 16 for the offense a couple of games ago. They had a lot yesterday as well.
2 gone in the bottom of the first, scoreless between the Doors and the Mariners. Here's Doors third baseman Kyle Morrison. Doesn't go after the fast one. It's below the knees for ball 1. Morrison transferring to Southern Mississippi in the fall after 1 season at South Alabama. Spent his first 2 years at Shelton State.
We had talked to, I believe it was Antonio Morales, a teammate of Zach Johnston, just about having a teammate from the last season in Falmouth to kind of have a shoulder to lean on. There's a lot of those combos, and you're going to see it in the heart of the lineup right here with Morrison, then Smith, obviously both in the portal with Morrison committing to Southern Miss. But
got to play at Southern Miss this past season as a member of the Jaguars. He said their environment and the atmosphere was something that really stuck with him and said, hey, this could be a place I want to play at next season, and that reigning true.
the portal becoming more and more common. One of the big things you really didn't see, even when transfers were happening, but not as much in the portal, you didn't see a lot of in-conference transfers, but Morrison, one of those guys, stay in the Sun Belt.
Spoiled this one away off the end of the bat. That changeup coming in at 79 miles per hour had him reaching. That remains at 2-2, 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Pitch from Rodriguez. Slapped the other way down the third base side.
Starting to put together a pretty good at-bats. That's one of the few bright spots at the plate for Falmouth in the first couple of games is they at least worked the pitch count out of a couple pitchers to where they didn't go as long as you would have thought after JT Quinn went 5 in game 1.
Inside on the breaking ball. Morrison, a really good at-bat here in the bottom of the first. Really working that pitch count of Rodriguez early. Here is the payoff pitch. Outside for ball 4 and a well-earned walk from Kyle Morrison. And Falmouth has a base runner on.
That's a really good approach. A lot of times, when we talk about so many different guys having these good at-bats, it's been going down 0-1, 1-2, 0-2 early and fighting back.
Here's the righty John Smith, his first start since Saturday, went 0-2 in the victory over Chatham. Did get to pinch ran last night for Mark Cartrani after he earned a 2-out walk in the ninth, but nothing sufficed out of that for the Doors. After entering that frame leading by 1, exited losing by 3. 2-0 the count to Smith. Currently in the transfer portal. That's the guy right in front of him. And Kyle Morrison, also playing at South Alabama this past season. 2-0 is hit high and deep into left field. Hooking foul. That ball definitely had the distance, but he was just a little early on it.
That was the stereotypical if it's fair, it's gone. But you don't have to watch a car out in left field. That one got close. Seen him hit a couple out in batting practice the last few days.
Definitely jumped off the bat a lot quicker, that one. 2-1. Throw down to second. And Maloney dropped the baseball. Morrison gets the safe steal at second base.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've noticed through 3 games so far this season. Well, I guess 2 in 1 inning. But a lot more stolen bases, not just for Falmouth, but the other team, at least attempts. I've seen some good throws from catchers, but you're seeing these catchers really tested. And it's a good thing Falmouth's got a very talented catcher's room.
Both teams, Brewster and Falmouth, both had 5 last night. Smith on the ground right side. Easy play for Jordan Jaffe, and that does it for inning number 1. The stolen base for Morrison. That's all in the first for the Commodores. We're scoreless through 1 between the Mariners and the Commodores. We'll be right back here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Grayson Sagne, right-handed pitcher from Texas. I'm a junior, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Let's go.
Top 2 here from Gov Fuller Field between the Harwich Mariners and the Falmouth Commodores. Back alongside my partner, Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Del Piano. Scoreless first frame for both sides. Both teams getting a runner in scoring position, but nothing further. It was Harrison Feinberg back in the first who reached thanks to the error by Ben Royal. Then stole second base. Nothing to come out of it. Same for Kyle Morrison the last half of the inning with a stolen base, but nothing to go for Falmouth. They did leave 10 runners left on base last night. Hopefully not the case tonight either, Ben.
Yeah, that was an interesting first inning, too, for Falmouth defensively. I think that felt like an infield, like a practice, where you had so many different situations, some decisions to make for Kyle Morrison at third base. A couple of tough plays. Ben Arroyo made a nice play, also made an error in that first inning.
Nico Brenny leads things off for Harwich in the top of the second. And has started all 3 games this season, or this summer, I should say. Still looking for hit number 1. He starts 0 for 7. And TJ Coates starts him out with a strike.
Brenny's another one of those guys, kind of similar to what we talked about with Ben Arroyo. A lot of his starts came later in the year. Didn't get his first start till March at Wofford.
Pops this up towards foul territory. Morrison's got a beat on it and makes the play. 2 pitches, 1 out for Falmouth to begin the second.
You'd really love to kind of hammer in that efficiency if you're coach. That's something that both Exman and Lynn after him on Saturday, and even the start yesterday too for Falmouth was really good from Grayson Sagne with efficiency, keeping pitch count down. So important early in a summer league season because a lot of these guys are on pitch counts and dictated. The more pitches you throw in appearances, the less appearances you get.
First pitch to the righty Kyle Wolf is just below the knees for ball 1. A rising senior from Boston College. Doesn't have to go too far to play his summer ball. Also an Andover, Massachusetts native. Good looking breaking ball in there from Coates, but can't clip the zone.
There's a couple guys in this Harwich lineup. Wolf's one of them, where you saw the batting average dip from last season to this season in the spring at Boston College. And it's interesting. Sometimes that could just be a byproduct of maybe trying to add more power and changing up your approach a little bit, but still was able to hit 8 long balls this year for the Eagles.
Talk about sophomore slump being a big thing from guys coming off big freshman years. That wasn't really the case for Wolf as he jumped right back into action, but more so, as you said, the numbers dipping into junior year. We only batted .250.
Yeah, you called it a sophomore jump before the game. I like it. Still, though, an OPS 774 isn't horrible. I mean, obviously facing the best of the best pitchers in the ACC.
Swing and a miss. Breaking ball in the dirt. But Quattrani has to fire down to first. He does so safely in time for out number 2.
Yeah, I like TJ Coates living down in the zone. I think keeping the ball on the ground, that's what he's done. Despite the 2-line drives in that first inning, a couple of ground balls. And then the pop-up to start this inning. It's not giving Harwich hitters really anything to drive.
First strikeout tonight for TJ Coates. Down to the 8th spot in the Harwich lineup with Tyler Minnick. Starting catcher for tonight's game from Middle Tennessee State. The transfer from Georgia Tech was very highly touted coming out of high school to play for the Yellow Jackets. Was the number 2 catcher in the state of Georgia. And really wasn't a massive offensive threat there in his first 2 seasons. Only hit .250, 2 home runs. What stood out is his defense. Didn't commit a single error in his 2 years in Atlanta. And he's been even better this year with the Blue Raiders. Batted over 300 this season. 38 RBIs, 62 base hits.
Well, and he's someone, too. I mean, maybe you want to say he had a sophomore slump, but it was mostly the playing time went down from freshman to sophomore year in Atlanta.
We even saw a really good catcher last night in Drew Rogers for Brewster. That catching room is always pretty loaded for the legendary Danny Hall. Lightly sent on the ground second base to Morales. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for TJ Coates in the second. Falmouth will bring their bats back up in just a little bit after a short break here on Cape League TV. Still scoreless between the Mariners and the Commodores.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
You just saw Kent Schmidt leading off this second inning against the right-hander Freddie Rodriguez and this Mariners team. How about an impressive 2024, a turnaround, a Cinderella story, if you will, Ben. They started July losing 17 of their first 19 games, won 6 of their final 8, sneak into the postseason, win their 6th championship. And I really think the funniest thing, too, out of that was they had less points than Falmouth, of course, being in different divisions, and you still make your way to a title.
Yeah, I mean, the way this league worked out last year was the West had a lot more wins against the East in interleague play than the East did. So Brewster, who we saw yesterday, actually had a worse record than both Falmouth and Harwich. But all it takes is 5 wins come postseason. And that's going to be changed to 6 wins this year with that divisional or wild card round being.
That divisional semifinals goes to a best of 3,
Yeah, three.
which I think is definitely a better move instead of the one-game wild card playoff, if you will. First at bat for Commodores first baseman Kent Schmidt. Fooled on the changeup. We've seen that a couple of times from Rodriguez. He's pulled out that string, and it's been beautiful.
Couple of strikeouts for Kent Schmidt in his first in that first start on Saturday. Maybe someone on this Falmouth team, one of the most anticipated guys. I mean, almost hitting 400 last year at Georgia Tech.
Just celebrated his 20th birthday yesterday, but he sits down on 4 pitches to begin the second inning.
Again, a more efficient start to the second inning for Rodriguez. Hey, it didn't have a terrible start to that first, but it was just that 2-out walk. A lot of times that happens when pitchers start to settle in a little bit. The second inning is really where they start to shine, and they start to work more towards the bottom of the lineup. Of course, this isn't a Falmouth lineup that I look at and say the top of the lineup is so much more talented than the bottom, really.
There's no doubt been struggles all throughout. Just 5 total hits in the first 2 games for the Commodores offense. Chris Newstrom, the rising sophomore from Tennessee. 1 ball and 1 strike.
So one of the few guys that did reach yesterday, at least for Falmouth, with a walk. But still, no base hits for him.
Talked with him before today's game about those offensive struggles and really the adjustment of the bat. You went to it again and again last night, and it really does reign true, that adjustment period where you can throw your hands at the ball and really get any piece of the aluminum bat, and it'll drop in for a hit. But, you know, Newstrom hit the nail on the head before today's game. That sweet spot has to be so much more apparent now with these wooden bats.
Let me give you some perspective, obviously, in Cape League guys, also the MLB guys, and just how talented of hitters they are and that jump they have to make from college. But this is a league that has a lot of guys that will be playing Major League Baseball and definitely minor league baseball, so it's very good that they get this experience this summer.
Good take there from Newstrom. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and discipline has to play a large part in that as well, and what pitches you can go after.
Well, it works the other way around, too. I mean, obviously getting at-bats is nice, but if it becomes a lot more difficult to make that change from aluminum to wooden, well, that must mean it gets a lot easier once you get into school ball, you go to fall ball, and start using aluminum again.
Newstrom well struck to left center field. Going to be a tough run for Broussard, but he closes the gap pretty easily and makes a loud out number 1 for Newstrom.
Yeah, it might be a tough run for a lot of guys, but Broussard, I mean, covers more ground than almost any center fielder in all of college baseball.
2 gone for Coleman Mizell, the DH out of the 7th spot for Falmouth tonight. Got the start back in game 1 of the victory over the Anglers. Shift on the right side of the infield for the Mariners. Mizell, one of the many strikeout victims in Saturday's victory. Falmouth had 17 of them. Mizell accounted for 2 of them. In a game that had the most strikeouts, 33 combined between the Anglers and the Commodores since the Cape League started tracking that back in 2010. Mizell quickly down 0-2. Rodriguez looking for a 1-2-3.
Yeah, despite the couple of strikeouts on Saturday, I still do like Mizell's plate discipline. I think that, you know, a couple of fastballs from JT Quinn just got away from him against Chatham.
Mizell goes out and gets this one first base side. Easy play for Jaffe. And just like the first ended, the second does as well. We are still scoreless between Harwich and Falmouth. We go to the end of the first third of this ball game after a short break here on Cape League TV.
to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else. Dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
My name's Jack Berg. I'm a left-handed pitcher currently in the transfer portal. You're watching Commodores baseball on the Cape League TV.
Don't forget, this summer, kids ages 5 to 18 can sign up for the Falmouth Commodores Youth Development Clinics. Live a day in the life of a Commodore and train with the top college baseball players here at Gov Fuller Field. Register today on our website at capecodleague.com/Falmouth. Top of the third here at Gov Fuller Field between the Commodores and the Mariners. Back alongside Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Del Piano. Some good pitching so far from both TJ Coates and Freddie Rodriguez. Both pitchers hitting their spots. We've seen a lot of weak ground balls. The best poke we saw today was that line-out last half inning by Newstrom. But other than that, a couple of strikeouts, some weak ground balls.
Andrew, might have to fudge the numbers a little bit on the birth certificate. I want to do that Falmouth Commodores Youth Development Clinic. I want to live the day in the life of a Falmouth Commodore.
What Commodore would you want to spend the day with?
There's a lot of good ones, a lot of good personalities so far. We talked about yesterday how Antonio Morales is someone that's always smiling, so that's a fun guy to be around. Carl Schmidt, I've got some good conversations with, too, is very insightful. I think has a very good mindset in a lot of ways, not only on the field but off it as well.
And what is your best tool on the field?
The best question is, like, which is not bad enough to be serviceable. I guess. It's definitely not my speed. We know that. Maybe contact.
Contact? All right. Well, maybe we'll schedule you in as a last-minute addition, and you can enjoy that clinic.
I am 12. I'll get the paper with the I am 12 and the picture at the bottom.
Yeah, just slip a quick 20 in there for the organization. You'll be fine. Back to the top of the lineup for Harwich. The strikeout of Shintaro Inoue on 3 pitches. Bouchard goes after the first one. Belts it towards center field. A little bit to his right is Newstrom, and he's got it.
Yeah, I feel like Harwich is maybe making better contacts. Definitely the first couple of liners in that first inning from Feinberg and Becker. But still, it feels it's one of those things you don't want to keep harping on it, but because sometimes it takes away too from, these are really good pitchers, and I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that TJ Coates is handling the lineup well one time through, or any surprise on the other side that Freddie Rodriguez is doing the same.
2 balls, no strikes to Harrison Feinberg. Reached on an error off a hard line drive to short. Ben Royal tipped off his glove. Could have been a double play over at first base to double up Bouchard. But then the next batter, Aaron Becker, he said, I got it, don't worry.
It's one of those karma things, right? It's good.
It always comes back.
It always comes back. It always evens out. So if you're Harwich and you're living with that, then.
Pitch right down the main street for Coates. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Feinberg coming off that fine season at Northeastern for a Huskies program that is back on the rise. Drop third strike here. Cool, calm, collected over to first. 2 strikeouts in the frame for TJ Coates. He's got 3 overall in this ball game. We are rolling along here at the Gov. Bottom half of the third on the other side. Stay with us. You're watching Commodores baseball on Cape League TV.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
I'm Ben Royo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom third here at the Gub between the Mariners and the Commodores. We're now joined by our third member of our crew, Ryan Martin, who joins us down on the field. And Ryan, some history at the College World Series today, my friend.
Was Andrew. The notion all along has been the best collegiate players play on the Cape, and that was proven today in Omaha when 2024 Falmouth Commodore Gage Wood tossed just the third no-hitter in the Men's College World Series history. 24-door. Gage Wood had a 1.42 ERA across 6 games here in Falmouth last season. That was the second highest across any pitcher who had at least 15 innings, and it keeps Arkansas in the World Series. Andrew?
Yeah, thanks so much, Ryan. Did you also see that on the screen as well, Ben? 19 strikeouts as well for the former Commodore. I mean, the Omaha Hogs, they're rolling right now.
19 strikes.
We apologize for those technical difficulties.
I hope you didn't hear at home what we were hearing here at the press box. Woo.
Mark Quattrani, the runner at first. After the first single of the game, the first base hit of the game for either side. Carl Schmidt out of the 9th spot at second here in the bottom of the third. Breaking ball, Schmidt gets it off the end of the bat and dunks into center field for a base hit. How about back-to-back for Quattrani and Schmidt to lead off the third here for Falmouth?
Well, these are some of the things you're going to see. I mean, with somebody like Freddie Rodriguez, who was outstanding in his role at Hawaii, you know, no doubt about it, but that was mostly a 2-inning role. You start to get to the third inning, still one time through the lineup, but now you're going to get Antonio Morales up for the second time. I mean, this is some of the things that can happen. But we were talking about the 19 strikeout no-hitter for Gage Wood. That was 7. He was perfect through 7, hit a batter to start the 8th inning, which was really devastating. Still able to complete the no-hitter, obviously, but a perfect game would have been something else.
And that was after Arkansas lost that first game to LSU, so they'll roll along into the elimination round. We get down to the final 5-6 teams it is at Omaha. I think still Coastal Carolina is maybe my pick to win it right now. They are the hottest team in the country by far.
Yeah, I can't even remember what I was doing the last time they lost a baseball game. I think it's 24
because it was
straight.
2 months ago. Yeah. Morales, a flare down the left field line. Long run for Brenny, and he makes a sliding grab in foul territory. Oh, my, what an effort over there.
Very impressive, too, for Brenny, because that is not your typical warning track that you see. It's more tough, harder gravel over there. So with that slide, hope it didn't rip up any pants there, too. Those are some of the dangers of it, but very nice play. And that's so nice to see if you're Rodriguez. After you give up the first 2 base hits and then you get your defense to back you up, you know you can trust your defense.
Royo swings and misses through the first one.
But what I love, too, about that Gage Wood clip is how about the energy and the showing off the Arkansas
I like that
on
too.
His jersey. I don't know if he was showing off the Arkansas or just telling people how to pronounce it.
How would other people pronounce it? Arkansas?
Well, no, yeah, you see that video? That's like, how is this Kansas, but this is not Arkansas? I mean, it's a good point.
Either way, an inning double play for Ben Royo as we go 1-6-3 to end the third. We are through the first third of this ball game. Still looking for our first runs. The Commodores put up the first 2 hits of the ball game, but still looking for that first runner to cross home plate. Scoreless between Harwich and Falmouth through 3. We'll be right back after a short break on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Top of the 4th inning, you know what that means. It's now time for some Doors trivia. Today's question, which collegiate conference was best represented among the 30 players on the Doors 2025 opening day roster? Yes, that includes new transfers as well. Is it the MAAC, the ACC, the Big 12, or the SEC? You can play along at home by tweeting your answer and including the hashtag Doors Trivia. That's hashtag Doors Trivia. Stay tuned for the answer in the bottom of the 4th. Well, you guys at home are looking for answers. We're looking for runs in this ball game between the Mariners and the Commodores. Scoreless through 3.
Yeah. Not that we were given the answers beforehand, but
no.
Even if I did, we wouldn't want to spoil it. But I think I can fade out one of those conferences. I think it's a 3-conference race for me when looking at the options.
And which one would that be?
I don't know. Maybe the A option. I don't think.
Are you trying to make our public address announcer Will Rosen feel bad? Is that what you're doing over there?
I don't want to make Will mad. I respect the conference, but yes.
DJ Coates still out there for Falmouth. Quickly ahead, 0-2 to Eric Becker.
Another interesting trivia question. Which conference would best represent the interns? Not just broadcast, because if it was broadcast, it would obviously be the ACC with Syracuse, but
I think it's tight between SEC and Big 10.
You think so?
Yeah. Got a lot of Texas A&M, some Bama. Right?
Yeah.
We've got some Big 10 guys as well. Our third member of our crew, Ryan Martin. Of course, you being a Big 10 guy as well. ACC over here from Syracuse. But I think SEC's got a not a handle on it, but pretty close to it.
Well, I wasn't surprised at the SEC. I was surprised you threw in the Big 10. I mean, there's only 4 I can think of.
All right. We'll do some math a little bit later on. We'll get back to you. Eric Becker, a guy just transferring to the SEC, strikes out from a guy from the Big 10 in TJ Coates. There's one gone in the 4th.
Yeah, Coates just from the top of the 1st inning with those struggles. I mean, he's just dialed in ever since. I mean, once you get to the bottom of the lineup is obviously where you can get some advantage there. But 4 strikeouts now, all of them after the 1st inning.
Has done a good job settling in with that leadoff single in the top of the 1st. A high pop up in the infield. Morrison's going to track it. And there's 2 gone. Kyle Morrison has been busy over there at third base. He's already caught 3 pop-ups. And his recent commitment to Southern Mississippi.
I talked about how I loved Morrison living down in the zone, but he's come up a little bit, and it has not hurt him yet. I'm getting a lot of players to pop up. I mean, I think just overall, the command has been the #1 thing that's led to this efficiency for him.
2 gone for Jordan Jaffe.
I mean, it's obviously efficiency and the pitch count, but also look at how quick he's working on the mound, too. You could tell that's how a pitcher's starting to get in somewhat of a groove. I mean, the pitch count's at 19 when he starts his windup. That's literally 1 second off the pitch clock.
It's a new tactic. Definitely pitchers are utilizing a lot more in the minor leagues and Major League Baseball, where you're making that hitter speed up a little bit more. Of course, that pitch clock put into place for the game to speed up in general, but I think pitchers have done a really good job of that, of taking advantage of it from their side of you as well.
Interested to see how much longer he can go. Devin Sheeran, the LSU Tiger, warming up in the bullpen. We'll likely see him while his team is playing an NCAA tournament game. They play Murray State in, I think, just 3 minutes? 13 minutes. Geez, that's rough math. Not Murray State, too, either, is UCLA.
I don't know if you've been also following up with Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge there in Omaha, but LSU with a hefty advantage in that one as well.
Somebody needs to get the Big Ten UCLA some help. I mean, UCLA is just getting mauled in the Jello Shot Challenge.
Well, you could also say UCLA is not, the most notable Big Ten school as well.
Yeah. They had an interesting season. I mean, there's so many close games. They weren't blowing out bad teams, just so consistent. Are they going to say he swung here? He did.
They did, wow.
I like the call.
Third base umpire Marvin Gomez over there at that second base spot with the base runner at first. Brenny already threw his bat and was ready to go down to first.
Never a good feeling as a hitter.
It's like a shameful walk back into the box saying, oh, I'm not supposed to be. I didn't think I was supposed to be here, but now I am.
Hitting's hard.
Jaffe back in safely. Breaking ball nicely blocked by Quattrani.
But I know it's confusing that we just talked about without context. Talk about Sheeran coming in Falmouth while his team's about to play in Omaha. Missed the season due to an injury, and obviously tough to come in, even if he's healthy now, in the postseason like that when you hadn't pitched all regular season.
Suffered a torn ACL last season. But when we talked with him before the season started, he said he knows he's not going to be that same pitcher as he was early in his career, but just trying to get back to 80-85% of himself would be really impressive for him, he said.
Same pitcher. Obviously, that means kind of in talent, but it also means type of pitcher and how he throws. He said he's going to have to change his arm angle more, move his arm angle down more. And he uses breaking ball a lot more than that fastball. So interested to see your first look at him if he is indeed coming in at some point of this game.
TJ Coates still working strong on the mound. That slider still being impressive. Got the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nico Brinny popping up to third base his first time up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's the second time home plate umpire. And Jake Britch has told JT Coates to address the hitter. 3-2 runner takes off, and Brenny will see another. That is one of the downsides of working rather quickly, is you do at the same time have to address the batter, make eye contact with him when you're on the mound and they're in the box.
I was going to throw you off, too, when you get told like that.
Called strike 3 from Coates. Ends off another inning with a strikeout. Through 3.5, still scoreless between the Mariners and the Commodores. Another short break here. You're listening, or watching rather, Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory. The best support in the business. Same-day parts availability and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
We're back here at Gov Fuller Field, and yes, you have the answer now, the long-awaited question on Doors Trivia for tonight. Which college conference was best represented among the 30 players? It was the SEC. Did you know that one, Ben?
I think I would have had a good guess.
Okay.
But, yeah, like I said, I'm surprised it wasn't the MAC. But, hey, it's always a good sign, too, if you're well represented in the SEC. Widely considered the best conference in college baseball, and I think for good reason. They got 13 of the 16 teams in the conference into a regional. Now, wins and losses in the tournament, they did have some struggles, but it is uncharacteristically low 2 teams from the SEC in Omaha right now, and they each had to play each other in the first round on Saturday.
I mean, even the 2 national teams as well, with Vanderbilt as the 1, Texas as the 2, both going down in its respective regional.
Georgia was the 7.
Georgia as well.
Down, yeah.
How about LSU in that rock fight with Little Rock as well in its regional? That came down to a Game 7.
I mean, that's not a typical 4-seed Little Rock either. They really struggled this year and just came on to the OVC championship. But sometimes that's more important than your overall win record because it just shows you're hot. I mean, you can all the way from high school to the MLB playoffs. A lot of times the playoffs are about who's hottest at that moment. So teams that come on as of late and just win that conference championship.
Either guy at home plate or on the bump. An SEC guy, Freddie Rodriguez from Hawaii, and Kyle Morrison, who we've hit on transferring to Southern Mississippi. Don't see a lot of guys from Hawaii making their way over. And Rodriguez is a West Sacramento native, transferred out of Cal Poly as well, so a true West Coast guy. Morrison ropes a ball into right center field. Feinberg makes the play. That ball was well struck, but Feinberg just had a nice beat on it for out number 1.
Yeah, there's almost nothing that can be more frustrating than a well-struck ball like you talked about. That when you are your team and even you as a player are just having some struggles at the plate, something like that just hangs up a little too much.
1 out for John Smith. A ground out to first base back in the first inning. Second time around for this Commodores lineup against Rodriguez. Did allow 2 hits last inning. Mark Utrani leading things off. Carl Schmidt followed it up with a single as well, but then a nice diving effort out and left in foul territory by Nico Brini, and then you follow it up with a double play against Ben Royo.
Yeah, John Smith had one of the most well-struck balls of this game, too. Just ended a little bit foul, but out of the ballpark. Past that porta potty and left.
Smith, weakly hit. Charging effort by Maloney, and he makes the play. That left side of the infield is getting plenty of work today.
Yeah, what we have seen, despite the error, ever after the error, the second at bat at the top of the first inning is really good infield defense. And specifically shortstop spots, we've seen nice plays now from Maloney and then Royo on the other side.
Maloney from the University of Oregon. Another powerhouse in collegiate baseball. Kent Schmidt digs in 0 for 1, a strikeout back in the second. Shift to the right side of the infield.
about 4 seeds making noise in regionals. Kent Schmidt saw that happen too. Obviously with Murray State, who just got eliminated. They were in the Oxford region.
What a run it was for the Racers.
A lot of times you will see upsets in the first game 4 over 1 seed, because those 4 seeds can have really good aces, and sometimes it's just who gets the most luck, who gets the best bounces that game. But then to see that 4 seed follow up and beat the ACC regular season champion, who somehow ended up being a 2 seed, that's when you know Murray State's legit. Which means Gage Wood is even more legit.
Definitely some controversies with that between Georgia Tech. Did not like that seeding, and Kent Schmidt not going to like that result either with a ground out to first. Scoreless after 4 between the Mariners and the Commodores. Going on to the 5th here on Doors TV. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Caden Neshman, a right-handed pitcher, graduated from Northern Kentucky and going to Kentucky, and you're watching Commodore Baseball.
Well, if you like defense and not a lot of runs, this might be the game for you. We are scoreless after 4 between Harwich and Falmouth. Back here on a beautiful Monday night in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Back alongside Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Del Piano. Harwich ends up 7-8-9 here in the 5th to face TJ Coates, who's been really impressive so far through 4 innings. 5 strikeouts, just 2 base runners allowed via the walk. And the big bag, Kyle Wolf, digs in to start the 5th.
I like that. Big bad Kyle Wolf. Think of that on the fly, or is that something before the broadcast?
No, he was a player that was part of another team I worked with the first summer of college ball in the Nashville Silver Knights, and that was the first one that popped in my head, and get to see him again and reuse it.
I like
a little safe self-plagiarism, if you will.
Well, I think that's kind of
frowned upon.
No, it's oxymoron, I think, is the word, the self-plagiarism. It can't really be plagiarism if it's yourself. I don't know. I'm not great with words. Noah Nussbaum, our beat reporter's got to let me know. Is that oxymoron? He says yes. That feels like a win.
Tyler Minnick fouled off his foot at home plate. Quickly 0-2.
So Coates, if he records now, or now that he has recorded it now, it's gone longer than each of the first 2 starting pitchers for Falmouth. Caden Eschman on Saturday and then Grayson Saunier yesterday. Eschman's 4 innings was up towards 74 innings. Saunier's was just at 54. But, I mean, just so efficient so far for Coates.
We mentioned last inning, Devin Sheeran warming up in the pen for the Doors. Expect to see the right-hander up next, but I don't know if you could take TJ Coates out of this game the way he's pitching right now. Another strikeout. That is number 6 for the Nebraska Cornhusker.
And that strikeout pitch does put him over Saunier in pitch count. 58 now. Still a very good number through 4. And I think a lot of it, obviously, credit to the pitchers, but all 3 teams Falmouth has played, and even Falmouth less than the 3 teams, but they have been really they've been swinging it early in counts, first couple of pitches.
One and one to Shintaro Inoue from Kansas State. One of the better stories in college baseball. Transferred out of Western Nebraska Community College, a native of Japan. Started playing baseball when he was 4 years old there. The cool story he got from his teammates, when he arrived to Manhattan, he used an earbud connected to a translator box during team meetings to learn the language. Here's a high fly ball to left field, and it's high off the wall. Will definitely get to second. He's got a stand-up double, and the first hit for the Mariners tonight belongs to Inoue.
Well, we talked about the command being so good for Coates. A lot of times people kind of mistake command for control. Doesn't always mean, strikes versus balls. It's hitting your spots, and I think that Coates just hung one up there. That's something that he really hasn't made a mistake a whole lot after that first inning. He's going to want that pitch back, but nothing. I mean, the ball is just dying here today. I don't see a flag to gauge wind. If there is one out in the right field, it looks like coming in a bit, if there's any at all, but obviously, you're not getting a ton of humidity, ton of heat. The ball's not really flying, as it will probably in later July and once you get to the playoffs in August.
In a way, his favorite player in the last couple of years has been Masataka Yoshida from the Boston Red Sox. That was a Yoshida swing, if you will, out to left field off the end of the bat. Nothing in 2 to Trey Broussard. 1 for 2 in this ball game.
Right side.
This is the first time that he's really had somebody in scoring position since the first inning, too. A little different approach. See how it affects him mentally.
Here's the 0-2. Upstairs and away, ball 1.
Some of those thoughts start to creep in when it's a nothing game, and you've pitched so well, but still nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. Your team hasn't scored yet. Start to overthink the man on second.
Coates gets him fishing in the dirt for strike 3. And strikeout number 7 for TJ Coates. What a start it's been for him, leaving the runner stranded on second. Through 4.5 here at the Gov. Still scoreless between the Mariners and the Commodores. Who's going to crack through first? You'll have to find out right here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on KTV.
You can enjoy all the action of the Cape Cod Baseball League by downloading the Cape League TV app on your mobile device and favorite TV streaming platform. You can now watch the Doors on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TVs. Cape League TV provides live and on-demand coverage of all games and featured content for the nation's best summer collegiate baseball league. Get in the game with Cape League TV. Not much action on the base paths and nothing going on the scoreboard for either team as we've reached the bottom of the 5th inning. And our first look at Thomas Shirtliff. A 4-inning start is backed up by Shirtliff, and making his rising senior from Penn. Someone who got a lot of work in Ivy League play, obviously a league that doesn't see as many games, but much improvement from his freshman year. It's a long journey after a struggling 12 appearances. Had a double-digit ERA that freshman year. He's got that down to 3.04 in 17 appearances, 26 2/3 innings. That's his most workload he's gotten in his collegiate career. So, first team to go to the bullpen is Harwich, and he'll see 6, 7, 8 in the Falmouth lineup, but both hits for Falmouth have come at the bottom of the lineup. 8-9, Mark Quattrani and Carl Schmidt, and their first couple of at-bats. But Chris Newstrom flew out to center, his first time up, and will get his second at-bat of the game. Game number 2 at Gov Fuller Field of the Year for Falmouth. One of 2 that these two teams will play in Falmouth. They'll play 2 in Harwich as well. You play every interleague team 4 times. First pitch, breaking ball down the middle of the zone for strike 1. This is also the first time that we see Shurtleff in this summer. Most recent appearance for him came against Yale. And another pause in play where umpire Jake Bridich is going to say something. And just got to engage the batter a little bit. When he saw this issue with TJ Coates, who's been wonderful in his 5 innings. We'll see if there's anything left for him or if Devin Sheeran comes in the top half of the inning. But still an 0-1 count. Start this bottom of the 5th, breaking ball low and outside. Just 2 innings in his most recent appearance in college, where he gave up 1 earned run, 1 unearned as well. He gave up a couple of walks and a couple of base hits, but a lot of strikeouts for him this year. Shurtleff has got 37 of them compared to just 14 walks. Pretty good ratio. Newstrom high and out of play down the first base line, down to the count 1-2. Ben Howler alongside Andrew Delapiana for what is starting to be a little more chilly as we get down. I think my first week in Falmouth started to notice it can get cooler as
the
the
sun
night
goes
falls.
down, it gets cool. That's usually how that works.
I guess. Science, right? Still a 1-2 count on Newstrom. Breaking ball down the third base line. Kind of an awkward read for Becker and a late throw, but he gets it over just in time to record the first out. And the first out that Hartzell will record this summer. It's a Harwich team that has a lot of pitchers rostered, and they got a couple of more coming into this game after a 1-1 start. An awkward check swing and no appeal. I think he didn't go to Bull Mizell. 0 for 1 today, make him 0 for 4 in the first 3 games. They ground out to first unassisted in the second inning. A lot of his balls have been on the ground. A lot of ground outs for him through the first few games. But he started off 2-0 here.
Waiting for that first big swing from the Hartzell Hammer.
I like that.
The Alabama native.
He's an Alabama guy at heart. He's from Alabama. He plays college ball for the Crimson Tide, and he is in the driver's seat of this at-bat at 3-0. Just a 752 OPS. Batting average dipped down towards the end of the year at 229. It was a nice start to the year for him. A 25-game on-base streak to open up the year in spring. Just caught the bottom part of the zone. Little shake of the head from Mizell. Didn't think that was a strike. And you can see Harwich going to shade them. They got 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, all right of the second base bag. I believe Becker's the lone man on the left side, and a swing and a miss. We've run full. Talk about the good jump that Shurtleff made. It was more freshman, sophomore year. He had put together a couple of really nice seasons. That one called. Strike 3 on the inside corner. Mizell was ready to toss his bat. He thought that was ball 4. So Shurtleff in just a second plate appearance for him. Fights back, down 3-0. Gets the strikeout of Mizell. His first strikeout of the game. And we will look at the final line now for the Harwich starter, Freddie Rodriguez. He went 4 innings, scoreless, gave up a couple of hits and a walk. Those were the only 3 base runners. Just a couple of strikeouts in his 4 innings, but efficiency's been the name of the game. 59 pitches, 39 strikes. Swing and a miss in the first pitch to Quattrani. One of the many guys in this league still in the portal. He's not found a school yet after a couple of nice years at Cornell. And he's down 0-2. A lot of horizontal movement. 81 miles an hour on the breaker there. It's just so, the offenses have obviously struggled, but it also, too, it's not like they're leaving a ton of men on base. No team has really got anything on the base paths. They're breaking ball in the dirt. I believe the only time we've had two guys on the paths was the top of the first inning when Feinberg reached on an air after Broussard walked.
Had that in-away double in the last half inning. But Petrani's, of course, at the plate, and Schmidt, they had that leadoff singles. The first two batters, the third. Other than that, it's been quiet.
Shirtliff a strike away from getting out of the inning. Quattrani hits one hard to left. Brenny going back. Broussard's there as well. Playable. And it'll be Broussard to take it. So, Falmouth, another quick 1-2-3 inning. Thomas Shirtliff, all business. So the first three batters he faces, still nothing. Going to the sixth on Cape League TV.
Just having fun all year. You mentioned that you actually played Georgia Tech that year. I did not know that. Obviously, you've now transferred to Georgia Tech and taken your talents there. Can you take me through what kind of led to that decision to transfer to Georgia Tech?
Yeah, I mean, I love Georgia Southern. I love my 1 year. I just felt it was the right move for my career, and kind of development-wise, it's just going out, going home. But yeah, I entered the portal, and as soon as I entered, I started talking to my high school best friend, who's at Georgia Tech. So yeah, as soon as I entered, then as soon as they reached out, I kind of knew it was like, I kind of want to go back home. One of the best hitting coaches there, now the head coach, Ramsey. But yeah, it just felt like home again.
Conversation with our very own Timmy Weiss. I think Timmy might have to put a jersey on, get out there if they need him. But Kent,
He doesn't have the height to do that.
Yeah. You
That's
can
no
tell.
jab at Timmy. Just Kent's a much larger loomer figure over there at first.
I think Kyle did a very nice job, Kyle, our director and also videographer, that to make the heights look a little more even than they are in real life. But
I think anybody looks small next to Kent Schmidt.
Schmidt, one of the many guys who's yet to get a base hit today in this game. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And a ground out to first, kind of uncharacteristic. Showed some power towards the end of the year, but contact is the biggest thing you think of when you think of Kent Schmidt at the .397 batting average. But we have a new pitcher for Falmouth today for TJ Coates is done. As we have reached to the top of the sixth inning, it's Devin Sheeran. We kind of hinted at it that he'd be coming into the game. He's been warming up for a couple of innings now. Spent last season in Baton Rouge, didn't see the field after an injury. Spent his first couple of years in Mount St. Mary's, or just the 1 year at Mount St. Mary's. So 18 appearances, couple of starts for the Mountaineers, I think is their logo.
Mount St. Mary's, yes,
yeah.
Mountaineers.
Makes a lot of sense. Sub-5 ERA and 70 innings pitched. That's a lot of innings when you think about the 18 appearances, just the 2 starts. He was very much a long relief guy for Mount St. Mary's. Of course, that role so important in college sports when, this is compared to MLB, not as many guys, starting pitchers, are going deeper into games. So, big part of that Mountaineers team.
See a 4-pitch mix as well from Sheeran. A fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. That fastball can get up to 95.
Well, he'll get started with a tough part of the lineup. It's Harrison Feinberg, the CAA co-player of the year. They had a couple of those. We got co-players of the year. Started with a 1-1 count on him. Swing and a miss, not held on by Quattrani, but 1-2 nonetheless. At CAA, I had to make sure, 96 miles an hour on that fastball too. It took me a second because it used to be the Colonial Athletic Association. Now they changed the name to the Coastal Athletic Association, so I just got to make sure got that right. One of the older players you're going to see on the Cape too. Going to be a redshirt senior this year. Fouls one down the third base line to stay alive. 97 miles an hour. probably one of, if not the hardest throwers for Falmouth, at least on the current roster. One of the biggest things to notice about Feinberg, too, very close stance, one of the more close stance I've seen. And he's hit, looks like on the arm or the chest. Falmouth dugout contests. I think he went around, and first base umpire Ron Starsack says that he did not. The first batter that he faces, very similarly to Falmouth starter T.J. Coates, will reach a free pass, a walk for Trey Broussard. It was the first batter Coates faced. Now the three-hitter for Harwich, Eric Becker. Feinberg, he can run, too, 37 stolen bases. It's the second time he's been on base. A hard hit foul ball to the open area past the third base dugout. I don't know what that hit. Looked like a pole. I hope it was a pole or a tree. There's a couple trees down there. Boone Gross, our third base cameraman, looks to be okay. Maybe a little shaken up, but
he's always got a smile on his face, so I can never tell.
Runner's going to take off. That ball's hit up the middle. I think tipped off the glove of Sheeran, but the throw still going to be in time for Morales. And they're going to move the runner up. A successful at bat for Becker. Now Feinberg in scoring position, but the Commodores do get the out on the 4-3 putout. Now Maloney, another one of the guys playing his college ball in his hometown, or his home state, I should say, from Springfield, Oregon, and he plays for the Ducks. That ball got away from Quattrani, and that's going to be an easy 90 feet for Feinberg. And he'll be 90 feet away from scoring the first run, a sacrifice situation here for Harwich, which Falmouth pitchers, at least last night, did a good job of navigating a lot of timely strikeouts. We'll see what Maloney can do, though. Yet to record an RBI on the season. 0 for 4 coming into today. And the 0 for 2 day makes him 0 for 6. It's one high in the air, and this is shallow. This will be in the infield. Ben Arroyo calling everyone off. That won't do the job. Out number 2 for Sheeran. Keeps Feinberg put. And Sheeran's an out away from getting out of this first inning scoreless. Last hope for Harwich will be Jaffe, the rising senior from Thousand Oaks, California. All the way back to 2023 spring, where he was the Atlantic 10 Freshman of the Year. Swing and a miss. That got away from Quattrani. Runner's going to come up. Throw is not in time. That's how the first run scores. Harwich brings one home on what I think will be a passed ball for Mark Quattrani on a pitch that Quattrani probably should have controlled. But speed for Feinberg kills. I mean, that's one of the closer plays you're going to see behind the plate when a ball gets away. But somebody who had 37 stolen bases. That's over to second on a ground out. Third on a wild pitch and comes home on a pass ball. 1-0 Harwich. Bases now empty for Devin Sheeran at a 1-2 count. After that ball, because that was a pass ball where you had a swing and a miss.
And Mark Quattrani is one of those guys that is usually very sure-handed behind home plate. Didn't commit a single error, and I know that doesn't go down as an error, but he had 225 fielding chances this year. One of only 5 players with a perfect fielding percentage in the conference.
Cut and a miss with a 2-1, make it 2-2 now. It's one of the things that really hasn't been an issue for Falmouth so far the first few games, defense. First few games, trying to figure everything out. Happens. Swing and a miss gets Devin Sheeran out of the inning. So, Harwich able to play a little small ball, take advantage of some defensive miscues for Falmouth. It's a 1-0 Mariner lead. Head to the bottom of the 6th on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
It's game number 3 for Falmouth under direction of new manager Jared Saltalamacchia. Has got a World Series ring. He's got a couple of teammates that do as well. Ryan Martins has more on one of them. We'll see if we could talk to Ryan a little bit later. That was Johnny Gomes who's in attendance for this game. A lot of people remember him for that big beard. You got the Saltalamacchia hair in the back. Johnny Gomes with the beard. A lot of great facial hair, regular hair on that World Series team. They could use some of that offense from that Red Sox team as well.
The team was full of facial hair.
Seriously, it was.
The Band of Beards, I think they were called.
That was the thing I hadn't heard. I mean, you're from the Boston area, so you probably know a little bit more about the Red Sox. But second inning here for Harwich reliever Thomas Shirtliff. That one, a slow grounder up the middle. Could be an awkward play. Picked up on the run by Inoue, and he got the throw over in time for out number 1. Really consistent defense on display as Carl Schmitz retired for the first time today. But this is a broadcast team, you, Ryan, and I, that both of you guys are Red Sox fans. I'm a Reds fan, so it's pretty cool we get someone who's at this game who played for both the Red Sox and the Reds. First time Shirtliff.
Plenty of red.
Yeah, that's a lot of red. First time that Thomas Shirtliff faces the top of the lineup. It's Antonio Morales, who's 0 for 2 today. Breaking ball. Beautiful pitch. Called strike at the top part of the zone. Shirtliff not far from here. Another Massachusetts guy from Medfield, Massachusetts. He's pitched, despite playing in the Ivy League, has pitched against some pretty good teams in the spring. One of them, Florida State. That one punched through the left side for a base hit. Morales has got his 3rd base hit of the young season. And just the 3rd of the day for the Commodores. They've all come in a row in terms of the lineup. It's 8-9-1, Quatrani, Schmidt, and Morales, who are responsible for the base hits. 1 on, 1 out for Ben Royo.
That's the guy you love having at the top of your lineup as well. We're not a huge power guy, but simple little punches out to left and right field. And all you talk about when you're the leadoff guy is, can you get on base for the guy behind you?
That one got away a little bit from Minnick behind the dish, but stares Morales down at first. He's able to pick it up to make it a 1-0 count. Ben Royo now. Also 0 for 2 today. 2 unfortunate at-bats. He's got the strikeout and the double play. Didn't get to start Saturday, but back-to-back starts for him. First couple of seasons at Rice. Runner takes off. Ball's hit hard into left anyway. Brini going back near the track, and he'll make the grab in front of it for out number 2. Royo with some nice contact. Doesn't get anything, though, and Shirtliff's not away from getting out of it. It's funny, you know, we'll address this. Always kind of force a habit to say warning track is a reference point, but there is no warning track in the outfield here at Gov Fuller Field, so just imagine a warning track maybe. Falmouth 3-hitter Kyle Morrison. Runner takes off. Morales did take off on that fly out. So a couple of times he's had to head back to first base after what I've seen to be 2 pretty good jumps. And he is someone who has a lot of speed. But we were talking about shirtlift some of the teams he played. He pitched an inning against Florida State early in the year. Very clean inning. Had a couple of strikeouts. Gave up a base hit, but it was a scoreless inning. An inning against Troy as well, where he gave up an unearned run. And now pretty good contact from Morrison again, but right at Brittany. He'll grab it for out number 3. Falmouth starting to put bat on ball, but still nothing to show for it. We head to the 7th. It's a Harwich 1-0 lead on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on Cape TV.
Second inning of work for Devin Sheeran is bottom of the 6th, then to the bottom of the 6th, start of the top of the 7th. You know what that means, the Homer Dance Party here at Gov Fuller Field. Some fans getting after it. Once again, another pretty good turnout at Gov Fuller Field. Maybe not the attendance from yesterday, but I think we're pretty happy with the first couple of days, how many fans have shown up. It's a Harwich 1-0 lead. Game's got a little bit different vibe than yesterday. Falmouth only 3 base hits. Harwich, though, just the 1. But they do have the 1-0 lead on a passed ball, so no RBI in this game. And Nico Brini made a couple of those plays on the flyouts in the bottom of the 6th. We'll lead things off for the Mariners. 6, 7, 8 in the lineup. Sheeran faced 2, 3, 4, and 5. Gave up a leadoff hit by pitch. And was able to retire the next 3 batters. First pitch fouled off hard again down the third baseline. He's late on a couple of fastballs up to go down 0-2 in the count. Brenny going to be a senior from Plymouth, Mass. And plays his college ball at Wofford. Didn't get his first start of the year until about mid-March, but after that 43 straight starts, he was immediately a big part of the lineup once he got thrown into the starting lineup. He had, out of his first 9 starts with Wofford, 5 of them were multi-hit appearances. He had a hit in 8 of those. Stays alive, found one back into the net. 7 hits in the SoCon tourney as well, with 8 batted in. That led the Terriers.
Out of the SoCon.
SoCon, yeah. Jammed kind of on the inside, a defensive swing there. Still alive with a 1-2 count. Well, for 2 today, struck out looking his most recent time up. That was really in the heat of things for TJ Coates when he started to heat up. Coates will end the game with 7 strikeouts in his 5 innings of work. That one on the outside, punch to the left side of the infield. Nice pickup by Royal. Throw across his body, and the speed of Brady beats it. An infield single for Nico Brini. Ben Royo did all he could, but Rowe just not in time.
Just one of those weakly hit ground balls off the end of the bat where Arroyo has to charge in. Very off balance to first base where his momentum's taking him towards home plate. And you alluded to that speed of Brenny. Tough play to make.
So it's just the second hit of the game for Harwich. First one was a hard hit double off the wall. Second, a little different, an infield single. And now the bottom third of the lineup started off with Kyle Wolf, the Boston College Eagle. We're going to take a look at Brinney on the base pads. He's got 26 of them in the SoCon a season ago.
Saw plenty of Eagles in action last night as well with Brewster. Joshua Ragsdale, Adam Magpok, who had those 2 stolen bases tonight to set up the 2-run home run for Blake Sear.
Runner takes off. Pitch is swung on and missed, and an easy stolen base and a lot of speed from Mike Brinney. And just the second time Harwich has had a runner in scoring position. Today he stands at second base with nobody out. So we'll see if Wolf can, at the very least, get the runner over. That one hit hard into left. Carl Schmidt going back. He's looking up, and that ball's gone. Harwich with the first display of power. It's a 2-run shot for Kyle Wolf. His first home run of the 2025 Cape League campaign, and his first base hit as a 2-run shot that gives the Mariners some insurance. It's a 3-0 lead for the Mariners. Going 92 miles an hour off the bat. 339 feet, one of the shorter home runs you'll see, but it got out of here in a hurry.
Devin Shearing just missing middle, and Kyle Wolf, he brings a big bat to the plate.
Had 8 of those for Boston College a season ago. There's just a 250 batting average, so he had some power, and that one runs up on Tyler Minnick, and he looks to be in some pain. Second straight game we have seen fastball near the head area. I think it actually caught his hand maybe once he got his hands up there to defend his face or his head a little bit, so he'll get some attention from the training staff. But quickly, another on base after the bases were cleared by Wolf.
Like you said, he turned his body away to avoid and, potentially protect his face, most importantly. But it looked like it was heading towards his head. Maybe he got his hand up at the last second to protect.
Yeah, it definitely is that hand he's getting attention for.
It's also a righty's a catcher as well, so that is his catching hand behind home plate.
It is a Harwich roster, too, that only has 2 catchers on the roster, both him and Matt Conti. Conti got the first 2 starts of the year for the Mariners. Getting the off day today. And Minnick looks like he's going to be able to make his way down to first base, always a good sign. But this inning has gone infield single, 2-run shot, hit by pitch to the first 3 batters for the Mariners. Now runner on first again. And the first base hit came from the man at the plate right now, Shintaro Inoue. Hitting a pretty tough line drive off the wall in left center field. His first time up. Righty on lefty matchup. Sheeran delivers home, pulls back the bunt, and that again will get away from Coates. A light jog on to second for Tyler Minnick. That one I think going to be ruled more of the wild pitch variety. But just 2 pitches. I think it's 3 pitches after the home run. You now have a hit by pitch and a wild pitch. See if Sheeran can settle in a little bit more. Squared around to bunt, pulled it back. They say he pulled it back. It's outside. Make it 2-0 on to Dewey. 56 starts in his first season in Manhattan. That's not the Manhattan in the Northeast, though, or Kansas State. That's finally Sheeran delivers a strike, fouled back. 279 batting average, an OPS of 853. And he showed some power. He's kind of got that really good combination of power and speed. 9 home runs with 31 batted in. Also 7 stolen bases on the year. a Kansas State team that made it to a regional from an at-large bid. They played in Fayetteville. Pitch just a bit off the plate again. Actually got bounced from the Fayetteville Regional by Creighton, I believe it was. Three-one, swung on and missed. We've run full, so a good job by Sheeran to bounce back. 97-mile-an-hour fastball once again. Breaking ball hit the other way down the left field line, tailing foul and landing foul out north towards Falmouth bullpen.
That was similar contact that we had when he had that double back in the fifth, where kind of a lighthearted swing, if you will. But as you touched on a little bit earlier, he's got some good power to him. Well, sometimes that swing speed just matters most.
Yeah, and it's also someone who just hits to all parts of the field,
Absolutely.
too. We see a lot of opposite field hitting from a new way. Still awaiting another payoff with a runner on second and nobody out. And he hits one hard into right. John Smith's got a beat on it. He's heading towards the wall, and it's over his – oh, he'll make the catch. Looked like it was over his head, but he does make the play. Tagging from second to third is Minnick. So a pretty nice play for John Smith, who had to go on a full sprint there. But that is the first out of this top of the seventh inning. And it comes in a tough spot. You flip the lineup card over, Trey Broussard. So for 2 today with a walk back in the first, make him 1 for 9 in his first 10 at-bats of this summer season. Big swing and a miss on an outside fastball for strike one. Sheeran relying on that heater, goes 96 again, and Broussard hasn't been able to catch up. Most recent plate appearance was a strikeout back in the fifth. That was the final plate appearance for TJ Coates before handing it over to Sheeran. Nice ball way high.
That can be the issue with pumping a fastball that fast as well, is a little bit of inconsistencies. Can be tough to control at some points.
So 3 home runs so far at the Gov Fuller Field this season, as that one's cut on and missed. I'll tip into the mitt for the second out and the first strikeout of the inning for Sheeran, the second of today. 3 of them at Gov Fuller Field, all 3 for different teams. Brewster hit a couple yesterday. And now 1 for Harwich today off the bat of Wolf. And it's the 2-hitter Feinberg, and pitch comm issues might force Sheeran to step off the mound. This ball up a little bit. Seems like almost every pitch of this AB has been a fastball, or of this inning, I should say, and that is what Wolf took advantage of. Big swing and a miss, 96 again. Well, if there's someone who saw a lot of fastballs, it was Feinberg. He was able to hit a lot of fastballs. 18 home runs on the season in the Coastal Athletic Association. 14 doubles to go with it. Strikes one down the first base line, up and out of play. I think we've talked about it. We talked about how much I liked the uniform matchups yesterday. Today, too, I mean, I feel like I'm watching Ole Miss with the Mariners unis.
That's a beautiful
baby
blue.
With the red. It's a great color combination. And the Falmouth, just the clean whites. 1-2, defensive swing, and he's able to punch it towards the Falmouth dugout and stay alive with a 1-2 count. Another righty warming up in the Falmouth bullpen currently.
I do love both logos that Harwich utilized as well. The M spear.
Yeah. Very similar to the one the Major League team uses too. Swing and a miss off the end of the bat. Awkward diving play, but made at short by Ben Arroyo. He kept it off the ground and records the third out of the top of the 7th inning. So Harwich extends the lead to 3. But here at Falmouth, it's a tradition unlike any other in the middle of the 7th inning. We have America the Beautiful coming up here at Gov Fuller Field.
That's what street we live on.
Mark. Clara.
The Mullen Hall Chorus, the Mako Madrigals.
There we go. He fixed it. What is that? No one get killed by
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, hope of the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Nice job.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you once again to the 3rd and 4th graders from the Mullen Hall School. Let's get
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, a proud supporter of the Falmouth
Falmouth's got their work cut out for them. Couple of runs added on to the top of the 7th for Harwich after a beautiful start from Freddie Rodriguez. 4 scoreless, just a couple of base hits. And TJ Coates, pretty good counterpart. He went 5, only 1 hit scoreless after giving up a couple of walks. But the story's been that 0 for 3 with runners at scoring position. They left a few on base. I think even bigger story offensively is not getting men on base for the Commodores.
And it really starts with the leadoff hitter as well. There's only been a couple of times in this game where Falmouth has gotten that leadoff guy on, and you really got to build off of that when you have a good chance.
Well, it's game 3. Falmouth has yet to score in the final 3 innings of a ball game. Just 4 total runs for him so far this year. John Smith will lead things off as it's the middle of the lineup for Shurtleff. The first time he faces Smith. And a breaking ball. Called strike on the outside corner, even things up at 1-1. Smith, a couple of groundouts. One a first unassisted, and then one a shortstop. I got that start as a pretty nice play made. That's short by Maloney. Shurtleff enters for his 3rd inning of work, sitting about 23 pitches. Smith gets 1. Medium depth center now sends Bouchard a little bit back towards the wall, but he'll indeed make the catch in front of the wall for the first out. The first one, Smith's able to get out of the infield, but no damage.
And a quick smile to the camera as well. Knows he made a good play.
Bouchard is someone who does not make a lot of mistakes in center field and hasn't had a ton of work today. Falmouth, a lot of balls kept in the infield, a lot of strikeouts. Still trying to get used to those wooden bats and Cape League pitchers. That's Kent Schmidt, the 5-hitter. Check swing on a ball that ran inside. I don't know, that might be called strike by home plate umpire Jake Bridich. Smith gets the favorable righty on lefty matchup, and Shurtleff's trying to live in that inside corner. This time runs a little bit too far in. Saw Schmidt talk to our very own Timmy Weiss a couple of innings ago. Had that nice game of catch. It was a beautiful game of catch. Almost looks like the ones you and I and Noah Nussbaum have outside of the game. That one grounded through the left side for a base hit. Ken Schmidt hits it through the shift and makes Harwich pay with just the 4th base hit of the game for Falmouth, the 7th total. Falmouth still out hitting the Mariners despite the 3-0 deficit. Now runner on first with 1 out. But kind of like you talked about, there have been those base hits, but they very rarely came with no outs. This one comes with 1 out.
And that's the important piece of the puzzle as well, as when those runners are on base, you got to take more advantage of. But it's as simple as just moving the line down. Give that next guy a chance to drive you in.
Now it's Newstrom making his 2nd start of the season. Only been on base once in his first couple of games. Came yesterday due to a walk, a fly out, and a ground out. The 5-3 put out more recently. And a strike at the knees for the first pitch to the Tennessee Volunteer. Breaking ball doesn't break enough, and it'll end up a bit high for a ball. Schmidt at first base wasn't known to steal a ton of bases for Georgia Tech a season ago. We did have 4 of them. And he's going to hit one high into right. Punch towards Feinberg. Couple of steps to come up and make the play. Send Schmidt back to first base. Couple of high flyouts for Falmouth around that single. Now Bull Mizell, the last chance in the inning for Falmouth. One of the younger guys on this Commodore roster and in the league. The youngest you'll see is someone who's going to be a sophomore. See a lot of rising juniors, makes up most of it. That one punch to the right side through or into the shift, and it's picked up by the shortstop playing out of position, Maloney, and he throws to first for out number 3. So defense helps out Shurtleff. Work around the Ken Schmidt single. Still a Harwich 3-0 lead. Heading to the 8th here in Falmouth.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
The Cape League All-Stars will shine once again on July 19th at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth for the 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game. Don't miss an action-packed day of All-Star Day festivities. Buy your tickets today at CapeCodBaseballStore.org. That's CapeCodBaseballStore.org. We'll see how many Falmouth Commodores or Harwich Mariners will be on that All-Star team. A lot of baseball to be played before then. A 3-0 Harwich lead. Still just 4 runs scored for Falmouth through a total of, do some math, 25 innings so far. Despite the offensive struggles, they were a couple outs away from off to a 2-0 start. Today's a little bit different story. Harwich, a run on a pass ball, and then 2-run shot an inning later. That came in the 6th from their 7-hitter Kyle Wolf. 3-4-5 is Devin Sheeran still on the mound. He's the one who gave up the 2-run bomb. Eric Becker, the 3-hitter, already on lefty matchup. Breaking ball a bit off the plate for ball 2. It's 2-0. We've seen some command issues on the breaking ball from Sheeran. Fastball is commanded pretty well. one of those deposited over the left field scoreboard. Another one above the zone, and he is picking up where Coach left off in terms of working quickly, timing-wise. I think you've seen that on both sides. Thomas Shurtleff doing the same in relief of Freddie Rodriguez. But 3-0 count, the fastball outside, a 4-pitch walk to start this inning off. Eric Becker, one of the scarier hitters, not only for Harwich, but in this whole league. Now it's Maddox Maloney. 1 for 3 today with a couple of pop-ups and a fielder's choice back in the first. That was a beautiful breaking ball at the bottom part of the zone. It's an all-star game. We talked about at the top of the inning that's probably going to have to play it a little bit earlier this year. And Red Wilson Field doesn't have lights. And Yarmouth, the Whitey Red Sox. Now off the end of the bat back into the net for Maloney.
Starting to see that off speed a lot more on those breaking balls from Sheeran. It was consistently fastball after fastball last inning. We're seeing that slider and that curveball utilized a little bit more.
And it is Maloney who's a stereotypical cleanup hitter. He set the Oregon freshman records, single season records in both home runs and slugging percentage. 10 home runs, 560 slugging percentage. And those numbers extremely similar his sophomore year. He did not have that sophomore slump. Fastball up towards his ear. Actually, eerily similar. 315 batting averages freshman year to 309 his sophomore year. A 566 slugging his sophomore or freshman year. 565 his sophomore year. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball outside. He's down on strikes. And to finish that, 402 slugging, or on base rather, his freshman year to 403. So that OPS exactly the same from his freshman to sophomore year. But he's down on strikes here, the first out of the visiting half of the 8th.
That's tough to do with the amount of at-bats.
It is. I wrote that down too, the at-bats. I think it was 143 at-bats his freshman year, 207 at-bats his sophomore season. Got a lot of work in the heart of Oregon's lineup, a team that had a very successful season, hosted a regional. Check swing on a breaking ball outside, called strike for Jordan Jaffe here. They, of course, got upset in their regional in their first game to a 4 seed and ended up bowing out before Supers. Arizona won their regional. Now the throw over to first with Jaffe up. That's one of the fun things I like, though, the way the bracket worked for the college baseball tournament this year. You had Arizona go to Oregon's regional, former Pac-12 foes. You had Arizona State go to UCLA, former Pac-12 foes. Check swing, he did go around. And then also there was another one, I think it was USC, was in the Corvallis regional with Oregon State. So,
and think of the two teams that went to Omaha from the Big Ten, or formerly Pac-12 teams.
2-0 count after the throw over for Jaffe. Multiple 4-hit games his junior season. And one of his best games this past year, though, was that 2-home run game against your UMass Lowell.
My UMass Lowell.
Yeah, used to call games for him. Breaking ball called, strike 3 on the outside corner. So Devin Sheeran is dotting up corners. And still no ball put in play in this top of the 8th. A walk and a couple of strikeouts for the 4 and 5 hitters. See what Brinney can do, the senior from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Singled on an infield single that last inning, and then eventually came around to score on the 2-run home run from Wolf. He's got a man on here. Runner takes off, and it's hit hard anyway. Turned on it early, and that'll be well out of play down the first base line towards the clubhouse. We have seen a lot. I know it comes into play, obviously, just naturally when you have a lot of stolen base attempts. but a lot of contact on those stolen base attempts. Not as much coordination in summer league as school in terms of, you know, a lot of times in college you get the sign not to swing when someone's going to take off for second. A lot of times you get a hit and run, but in a lot of these cases it's foul balls and pop-ups that I don't think look like hit and runs.
Also just could be a piece of just not being on the same page as well.
Right. 0-1. This one hit into right center. Smith and Newstrom both going towards it. It's John Smith who calls him off to make the play. So Falmouth's down to their last 6 outs. They're going to have to get some action going here in the bottom of the 8th, nearing the end of Game 3 of the 2025 Cape Cod season.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Commodores fans, join us on Thursday, July 10th to meet the coaches. Get to know new field manager Jared Saltalamacchia and the rest of the coaching staff at this can't-miss event. Head to FalmouthCommodores.com for more information. That's FalmouthCommodores.com for more information. Tazwell Butler is the new pitcher for Harwich as the Mariners try to get the last 6 outs of this ball game and take home their second win of the 2025 campaign. A rising redshirt senior from Kansas State. Started his college career at the Walter State Community College, so he's a JUCO guy, originally coming from Sandy Springs, Georgia. 16 appearances with just 1 start his most recent season. And that's a story for a lot of different guys we've seen pitch in this game, both for Falmouth and Harwich, are guys who can make some spot starts, maybe used as an opener a couple of times, but ERA up towards 6.75. The nice number, though, on that list is the 24 strikeouts and just 9 walks. And a whip of 1.39 in the college game is nothing to sneeze at either. So we will see what the third pitcher of the game for Harwich can do to continue this success for the Mariner pitching staff. Falmouth offense has struggled today. We'll go 8-9-1 to start things off, and we'll get a pinch hitter immediately to start the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a catcher-for-catcher pinch hit. It's David McCann hitting for Mark Quattroni, so his day is done. McCann got to start the first game of the year. You're going to see that 3-man rotation from the 3 catchers here in Falmouth, with David McCann from Virginia Tech at the plate now, Mark Quattroni, who got the start today, and the portal from Cornell, and then, of course, Bear Harrison, who we talked to, Ryan Martin, the 3rd member of our crew, talked to at the beginning of this broadcast. He got the start yesterday. So you also might see these 3 get some at-bats as DH. All 3 of them had very successful offensive seasons at their respective schools. It's a 1-1 count to start things off for McCann. Fastball cut on and missed. Taz Butler brought the heat. Someone, again, just the 1 start in his season for Kansas State. One of the more experienced guys, older guys on this Harwich team. Tipped into the mitt. That's going to be strike 3. So the pinch hit at bat. I would assume McCann stays in to replace him as the catcher, but he's down on strikes. The first strikeout of the game for Taz Butler. Carl Schmidt will stay into the game. Just 2 decisions for Butler on his season. He's got an even 1-1 record. That one grounded through the right side. That'll get towards right for a base hit. Carl Schmidt's got his second base knock of the game. And 2 of the 5 now for Falmouth belong to Schmidt. And 4 of them have come in this 8-9-1 part of the lineup. And that includes Antonio Morales. He's gotten all 3 starts for Falmouth. And he'll make his 4th at-bat of this game. 1 for 3 with a single back in the 6th, fly out, and a pop-up. Breaking ball right down the middle, actually inside for ball 1. This is the 3rd base hit of the game for Falmouth. That has come with 1 out, only 1 leadoff base hit. It was Mark Quattroni's. Defensive late swing towards the 3rd base seats. Once again towards that open area. So there's a righty warming up at the Falmouth bullpen for what could be, probably will be the final top half of an inning. Another throw over to first. Keeping a close eye on Schmidt. Did steal a couple of bases this past season. Didn't do it very often, so just the 2 stolen bases. 2 triples, though. Usually a decent sign of speed. To just a 7 doubles, so 5 home runs. Pretty rare that 2 of 14 of your extra base hits are triples. Fastball bit off the plate. Morales up 2-1 now. Falmouth back in action tomorrow, but on the road they'll face another West Division opponent, Orleans. Andrew, you and I talked about this yesterday. Kind of has that college feel of play a lot of teams out of division or out of conference, depending on what you're talking about. 7 of their first 8 games will come against East Division teams. And fastball outside. Falmouth play the Whitecaps again after yesterday's loss. They'll play them on Thursday night in Brewster. And then a short turnaround for Orleans also as they play them tomorrow night in Orleans and home on Friday. Hitters count for the lefty Morales with 1 on and 1 out. Fastball hit into center. Broussard initially came in and eventually will readjust to make the play for the 2nd out. So I'd argue to say Falmouth might be making better contact than they have been in the first couple of games, but nothing to show for it. Not as many guys on base and not as much success getting those runners over, as the Mariner pitching staff has only struck out 4 batters today. 2 of them from the starter, Freddie Rodriguez. Thomas Shirtliff struck out just 1 in his 3 innings of work. Now Taz Butler had a strikeout in the first batter he faced. And Ben Arroyo will be the last hope in the bottom of the 8th. Swing and a miss. He went chasing. Breaking ball outside in the dirt. Arroyo's got an out of all kind. A strikeout. Grounded into a double play in the 3rd, and he flied out his most recent time to right. Another time that Jake Bridich is going to step out and tell the pitcher to re-engage. I think we saw it with the Falmouth starter, T.J. Coates. We've seen it now with Thomas Shirtliff of Harwich, and now again with Taz Butler of Harwich. I mean, is this something, is this a Jake Bridich thing? Is he being a stickler about it, or is this something you just noticed in this game?
It's been the first time I did understand where T.J. Coates was definitely not looking at the batter he was facing. He was looking down a couple of times, then would check over to first.
Strike 2, ball in the dirt. Runner's going to take off. A good throw, but not in time. Or I think it was in time, but Was able to get around the tag. Carl Schmidt, a beautiful slide into second. Puts one in scoring position. Falmouth has not had a ton of those today. And when they've had, they're 0 for 3 with them in scoring position.
Inoue got the nice short hop there on the front side. Tried to tag around, but Schmidt made a nice swim move there around the far side of the bag.
It was a late decision to take off. I think he got helped by the ball in the dirt. And a swing and a miss make that 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position today for Falmouth. Last 3 outs. Falmouth got to get something going. They'll need 3. Harwich would love to add some insurance despite Commodores out hitting the Mariners here in Falmouth.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Landon Moran, first baseman outfielder from Stetson University, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Pitching change for Falmouth as Harwich got the 3-0 lead. We'll go back down to Ryan Martin, who has more on our special guest today.
Yeah, Ben, let's try that one more time. You already know that 2013 World Series champion Jared Saltzlomacchia is in the Commodores dugout this season, but now there's another Red Sox champion from that 13 team. Johnny Gomes is here today at the Gov, and what Gomes called Bring Your Friend to Work Day for Jared Saltzlomacchia. Gomes is now actually a sports agent with Indy Pro Sports, an independent sports agency. You see these two here between Gomes and Saltzlomacchia, best of friends. And Andrew, I know you remember those 2013 beers. Could that be the move here at the Gov this season?
To maybe create some success offensively, Ryan. I mean, we haven't seen the bat of a guy like Johnny Gomes here at the field yet, but maybe the Beards need to come out for some success on offense. Ben.
Andrew, you know what? A fun fact I heard?
Go
they
ahead.
actually call that team the Band of Beards. I don't know if you've heard that one, but that's what that Red Sox
Is that
team
what
like
I
to
said?
call them.
Are you teasing me?
Maybe
It
a little
worked?
bit. I don't know. That's something I think it just popped in my head. That was a guess. I'll get our first look at Caden Humphrey, one of the couple of guys on this Falmouth team who is already committed from the portal to Alabama. It's Caden Humphrey from North Florida, and he gives up a leadoff single on the first pitch of the game to Kyle Wolf. A couple of base hits in his last couple at bats. Reminder that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. Wolf's got 2 base hits to make it a 2-for-4 day for him now. Tyler Minnick, the bottom of this lineup's done a little bit of damage for the Mariners today. Check swing, though. They're going to say he went around. Jake Bridich doesn't need an appeal. And David McCann will take over behind the dish after he pinch hit for Mark Quattrani. So Quattrani ends the day with a base hit, just went 1 for 1 in his only plate appearance. We had a couple of pass balls, slow grounder to the left side. It dies in the grass, and Ben Arroyo won't have a chance. That's going to be a base hit. I've seen a couple of balls, not only today but last night as well in the first 2 games of the Gov of the season, just get eaten up by this infield grass. And back-to-back plate appearances for Minnick where he'll reach. Good to see him doing well after the hit by pitch to his hand. And he gets a base hit after it. We'll have a pinch runner as Evan Dempsey will enter the game at second. And pinch run for Kyle Wolf. Dempsey, a first-team All-American, pretty much any publication you look at. When you look at each of those publications having a spot for a two-way player, you won the National Two-Way Player Award for the Two-Way Player of the Year. Right Great job for Florida Gulf Coast in the ASUN Conference. This one popped sky high down the third base line. Both Morrison and Schmidt giving a chase. It'll be out of play. Past that white line they have towards the trees that they mark out of play. If you make a catch out there, even on the fly, it will not count as an out. So no matter what, that ball will keep Inoue alive. But Dempsey will be running with his ASUN foe, Caden Humphrey, on the mound. Humphrey was named to the ASUN second team last year. It was Dempsey an ASUN first teamer. Bunt laid down right back at the pitcher, picked up and thrown over to first by Humphrey. So Inoue does his job. He gets both runners over, 2 in scoring position with just 1 out. Obviously, the top of the 9th yesterday is where Falmouth blew it on the 2-run shot from Blake Sear. Also, after the 2-run home run, the home run just made it a 4-3 game. They added on 2 runs of insurance after the bases were cleared. So that's exactly what Harwich is trying to do tonight at this top of the 9th. It's a little different situations coming into the inning. They would still like to have it just be a 3-run game going out.
Yeah, that single to Ragsdale following that home run. Then you deliver the strikeout, maybe get a little bit momentum. The 5-pitch walk to tie head, and then the 2-run single. That was really the NLBL by Carson Curse.
We have seen a lot of situations for Falmouth pitching. With runners at third with less than 2 outs. They've gotten out of a lot of them. This one skied down the left field line and caught in foul territory, but it'll do the job as he gets towards the warning track. Tagging up from third is Evan Dempsey. Comes in to pinch run, and it pays off. Now a 4-run lead for the Mariners. Record the second out of the inning, but beautiful baseball for Harwich. Sack bunt, sack fly after the back-to-back singles.
And that's just a good brand of baseball, right? You get runners at first and second. Make the defense work a little bit by getting that sack down, and then the guy, like I said, next in line, just doing your job enough out to the outfield to bring a run in.
Here's Harrison Feinberg, the runner from third in, so still a runner at second, and that is Tyler Minnick. He just stayed put at second, didn't try to tag after the fly out down the line. There's someone warming up in the Harwich bullpen, it looks like, past the left field line, so we don't have as good of an eye on it as we do with the Falmouth bullpen. Beautiful breaking ball called strike. It's the first appearance in Falmouth for Caden Humphrey. A couple seasons ago at a 5.65 ERA and a 1-2 record that improved a little bit this year, where he finished with a 4.3 ERA. Way outside with a fastball. 24 appearances, a few more than his freshman season. A few decisions. He went 2-2. Did not start a game. It was all in relief, so we've seen pretty much only relief pitchers, primarily for Falmouth today. 1-2 count. That one's in the dirt. McCann lost it initially, and Minnick almost got caught up between the bases. He'll stay at second. So Falmouth is, at this point, to the first 3 games. If I got this math right, -5 in innings 7, 8, 9. I guess in innings just 9. 4 runs the night yesterday we talked about. 1 here today. They haven't scored in the final 3 innings of any game this year. This one smacked to the right field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. There's going to be a stop sign for Minnick. We'll move him to third, but the third base hit of this inning goes to Harrison Feinberg. They're on the corners with 2 outs. You can really put this out of play, as at this point, Falmouth would have to match their run total in the first 3 games of the year in this 9th to keep the game alive. Here's Eric Becker, the junior from Thiels, New York. In a world of surprising transfer portal moves, I don't think there are many that are less surprising than Eric Becker following his head man, Brian O'Connor, to Mississippi State. There are a lot of good stories about O'Connor. Legendary Virginia head coach. He's got a national title down in Charlottesville. That one's fouled way out of play down the third baseline. 1-1 count for Becker, and Becker was trusted part O'Connor's lineup, not just last season, but even in his freshman year. He led the team in batting average as a freshman. Hunter takes off for second. McCann's going to throw it down, and it's going to be a delayed double steal. Ball gets into the outfield. Now Hunter takes off for third, and that's late. Good base running for Harwich. Falmouth has seen that a couple of nights, and it's a 5-0 Mariners lead as Minnick comes around to score on the delayed double steal.
Don't know if the Mariners were trying to play that cat and mouse game that worked with the Whitecaps last night, but either way, looked like Feinberg was heading down a second either way. Wasn't going to stop and get into a rundown.
With the ball getting in the outfield, he does get to third as well, so he's 90 feet away. Mariners up 5. Still a 1-2 count, and it fell off the tip, off the end of the bat of Becker. And it was not until that Harrison Feinberg single last at bat that Harwich actually came on top of Falmouth in hits. Falmouth had been out hitting Harwich for much of this game. Mariners now have 6 to the Commodores 5, but just none timely enough for Commodores today with an inning left. 1-2 out of the stretch. Take it out of the top of the ninth. This one's sent towards center, and that'll drop in and score another run. It's a 4-hit inning for the Harwich Mariners, all singles, but the most recent drives in a run. Eric Becker gets himself his second RBI of the 2025 campaign. As Feinberg comes around to score 6-0 Mariners. Now the cleanup hitter, Maddox Maloney, comes up.
And this ninth inning for Falmouth has been a bugaboo in the last 2 nights, allowing 4 in this frame just last night. 3 more here, a game that was in reach. If you just get 3 outs in the top of the ninth, you only don't go down 3-0 in the bottom half, but not helping out your case.
Well, the breaking ball is low here, and they've come with a similar approach pitching-wise each of the first 3 games. 4 innings start. With the first 2 games, 5 innings start today. Swing and a miss from Maloney. And then you get some long relief. Baumler went 3 innings yesterday. Lynn went 4 innings 2 days ago. And then a nice appearance today from Sheeran, who went 3 as well. Check that, just 2 for him.
I feel like these Falmouth starters have also earned themselves maybe a little bit better performance from the back end of the bullpen. Yep. Maybe on opening night with Caden Ishman. Definitely got some help from Connor Lynn, Grayson Saunier, even yesterday, and another solid performance from TJ Coates as well.
Becker, a high fastball put into the seats down the first baseline. And deuces are wild. 2-2 count, 2 outs. Humphrey still trying to get out of the inning. And 2-2 check swing. They did not say he went. It was about as close as it gets, but first base umpire Ron Starsiak is on it. Runner takes off for second. Pitch is low. It was an action pitch anyway. And this inning keeps on going. Runners on first and second. Now Maddox Maloney reaches for his first time today. He actually was on base with a fielder's choice back in the first. But Jordan Jaffe struck out a couple of times. His 2 most recent appearances. Hasn't put a ball in play since a 6-3 ground out in the first. A walk and 2 strikeouts for him, and a called strike on the outside corner. Big swing and a miss on another breaking ball. Take a look at some scores around the league. A couple of finals. Orleans, who Falmouth will visit tomorrow, at the 8-2 win to hand Cotuit their second loss on the season. Cotuit got that walk-off win. Case Sanderson, another Big Ten guy, yesterday. That's their lone win on the year. Now they're 1-2. Bourne and YD had to end due to some darkness and ended in a 4-4 tie. between the Braves and the Red Sox. Chatham, big lead over Wareham, 9-1. Chatham well on their way to their first victory of the 2025 season. Grounded up the middle, picked up, had a step on second for the easy out number 3. Well, Falmouth got a lot of work to do with 3 outs to do it. They'll need 6 to keep this game alive. Mariners on top on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, a proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Taz Butler will try to close things out for the Harwich Mariners and take their second win of the 2025 season and avoid a 2-game losing streak after falling to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks last night. And Falmouth will need 6 runs. This is the biggest deficit of their season. A 3-run loss yesterday, 6-3. And down 6-0 here today after a shutout in Game 1. 12 combined in the last 2 games. Ben Haller alongside Andrew Delapiana. Ryan Martin's the 3rd member of our crew. Try to close this thing out from Gov Fuller Field. See if Falmouth can make some noise in the bottom of the 9th. Here's Matt Conti, the new catcher for Harwich. He got the first 2 starts of the season for the Mariners. Rising sophomore from Wake Forest in the ACC. First pitch is outside to Falmouth's 3rd baseman, Kyle Morrison. Still looking for his first base hit, not only of this game, but of the year. He is now 0 for 6 with a walk. 1-0 count, fouled off down the left field line. Talked about it a little earlier. Falmouth will head out to Orleans tomorrow to take on the Firebirds. That's a Wednesday, Fenway Day off day before 4 straight. A couple on the road to Brewster and Wareham, a couple at home with Orleans and YD. And just 2 games in the middle of next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. A broken bat foul ball from Morrison, and the larger part of the bat went flying towards the net. He'll have to get a new one, as that foul ball puts him down on the count now 1-2.
You see where it ended up?
It was towards that net.
Oh, okay.
It's where the ball boys are, bat boys.
They do more than just grab the baseball.
It's true. They do everything. That's why they always give you a warning for bats and balls and the
correct.
Or balls and bats. Sorry, emphasize the bats and the
Give
stands.
me both.
So this is a very open field, an open ballpark here at Gov Fuller.
You have the nice protective net though, just in case.
Right. Back to a 1-2 count to start things off in the bottom of the 9th. Morrison down on strikes. Well, he's done a good job putting the ball in play. That's the first strikeout of the game of the season for Morrison. Now John Smith will have what will likely be his final plate appearance of the game. Another hitless one. He's 0 for 3. Both former Jaguars getting their second starts of the year. Breaking ball a bit off the plate for ball 1 to Smith. Started as a JUCO guy at Pensacola State, so he led the team in batting average that freshman year. and once he transferred to the Sun Belt. A 5 RBI game earlier this year against Texas State, who, by the way, I don't know if you're hearing, big rumors swirling about them being a team and a possible candidate to join the Pac-12 conference. Yeah.
Sun Belt right now, right?
Sun Belt currently, yep. Fastball right down the middle, and then somehow I've already heard Louisiana Tech would be a good candidate to replace them in the Sun Belt. That would make sense. A little bit more sense geographically than Texas State or the Pac-12.
Yeah.
But the Pac-12's good, doing everything they can to try to get back to that power conference status they were for so long. 2-1 count by Smith sends it to those right field bleachers.
Well, you need the 8th team, right, to be a Power
Correct.
5 or what's the rule? Or I think that's the correct.
And I think you need the 8th team to get an auto bid in a lot of conferences.
Thank you.
Or a lot of sports, I should say. I mean, they have a 2-2 count for Smith. Pensacola State, South Alabama, still looking for that 3rd school of his college career. Currently in the portal. Finished the season off to a pretty nice ending. He had 6 hits in his final 4 games. A few home runs in the back half of the year, puts him with a total of 7. He had 8 doubles as well. Kind of stereotypical guy that Jared Saltalamacchia wanted to have in Falmouth because he puts the ball in play. Something Saltalamacchia stressed. Had a .314 batting average for the Jaguars. 2-2, cut on and missed. It was in the dirt. This will take a second for Conti. Throw down gets him. So, Commodores down to their final out and trying to avoid the first time falling under 500 this year. They were in 500 or under 500 immediately last season. A 2-8 start through the first 10 games. So, trying to get off to a much better start. They had a decent end to this year last year. Kent Schmidt will be the last hope. Breaking ball low. But it doesn't take much. I mean, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. And the Harwich Mariners are a perfect example of that after a 16-24 regular season. They snuck into the playoffs as the 4 seed in the East Division. 3 seed in the East Division. Ended up one of the playoffs. That one grounded right at Jaffe. That'll make the easy play to give the Mariners their 2nd win of the year. Falmouth will fall to 1-2. Another beautiful pitching performance here at Gov Fuller Field by the opponents. And it's Taz Butler, the Kansas State Wildcat, who closes it out.
It's kind of a frustrating offensive effort for Falmouth, and you've kind of beat a dead horse, but the offense continues to be kind of the mainstay problem. They did enter this one with just 5 hits through those first 2 games. They matched that total tonight, but you know, we talked about it all throughout the telecast. It's where and when those hits have come in. It's been kind of scattered singles with 1-2 outs in the ball game, and then really no one over to move the runner as well. But just a lot of different things going on for this team. Runners in scoring position, also 0 for 5. Not too many left on base. It was only 5, but again, the number is hard to come by of what this offense can really get to right now.
So it was a perfect start to the year for Falmouth on the road. A very imperfect start for him here at Gov Fuller Field. They're 0-2 after a 12-8 finish in the regular season last year at home. But an 0-2 start, they fall to the Harwich Mariners. Our Ryan Martin's going to join us from the sideline, who got a better look at this game from near the dugout, our 3rd member of the crew. And a game where, again, the offensive frustrations were a big part of it. Ryan, what's kind of the vibe in that dugout? What did you notice about the way this Falmouth team's carrying itself?
Yeah, but I think this is a Falmouth team that understands where it is right now, right? We're 3 games in. This is still week 1 of the Cape League season, a 1-2 record. Isn't anything to really hang your hat on if you're Falmouth just yet. And as Andrew was mentioning, a season-high 5 hits for the Commodores match the total from games 1 and 2, and also a season-low 7 strikeouts. Now, that's a very small sample size again, Andrew and Ben, but I think when you look at the schedule overall, going to a 2-1 Orleans team that was shut out yesterday but put up 8 runs today, you have an opportunity against the Firebirds to pick up a win before the festivities start at Fenway Day on Wednesday. Excited to see that response for the Commodores after being shut out now for the first time in 2025.
And Ryan, I think a big piece of the puzzle as well. The pitching staff, at least the starters, have been quite impressive. We talked about it just before we got on, that the fact that we've gotten good quality starts, TJ Coates, Grayson Sonia, and even on opening day from Caden Eichmann, and I really think that will still continue to play an important part of this team going forward.
Really will be, Andrew. You said this is a team, pitching-wise, that understood its struggles in 2024, so new field manager Jared Saltzmacher comes in, has addressed that with the starting pitch. You're exactly right. A season high for a starter. TJ Coates goes 5 innings, allowing just 1 hit in that appearance. Excited to see what the probable Matt Saucer, the UCF arm, will do tomorrow at Orleans. If that can continue, Andrew, I think it's a recipe for success as the batters continue to understand the wooden bats as the season progresses.
Yeah, that starting pitching, too, has been great for Falmouth. That's one of the bright notes for the Commodores. TJ Coates, a 5-inning appearance, the most of any Falmouth starter so far this year, and he does a very nice job, only giving up 1 hit. Those were 5 scoreless innings. He recorded 7 strikeouts as well.
And I think huge going forward is you still have a good amount of opportunities this week. You go to Orleans, maybe just get away from home for a game or two, especially with the off day on Wednesday as well, and try to regroup, get some momentum back on the road before coming back home on Friday.
Tomorrow will be a radio game, but still on Cape League TV. It'll be me and the third member of our crew, Ryan Martin, on the call. But from Ryan, Andrew Delapiana, our producer, Dan Papillo, our director, Kyle Klima. Final here from Gov Fuller Field, 6-0 win for Harwich. Sending it off.